Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand. I can't explain the way these crown loads they come to me. Morning meditation, Psalm 91 and 23. Watering my money tree, manifest abundantly. On a mission, running free, everything they wanna be. In summary, there's been a shift within the earth sphere. So now people hear my messages and words clear. Still shining, the illest with the brilliant timing. The gold mine who had to go find the silver lining. Ain't nothing new underneath the sun. I be going through it too, you ain't the only one. Don't take none of this life personal, cause we all got some lessons that we working through. Ain't nothing new underneath the sun. I be going through it too, you ain't the only one. Don't take none of this life personal, it's just the lessons that we working through. So why you tripping, huh? Why you mad, son? Got some good days and some bad ones. Might win some, might lose some. That's just the way it goes, life 101. Why you tripping, huh? Why you mad, son? Had some good days and some bad ones. That's just the way it goes, life 101. Yeah, life gon' be life until your day is done. Never will you see a thief return a treasure stolen. No need to lock away your heart if it was never open. Truth heals the spirit and it's better spoken. Most never heal, they remain forever broken. I protect over my cells like a prison guard. True and living star, pay the price to get these wisdom bars. Listen hard, I was cut out of a different cloth. Turn your light up on these hoes and never switch it off. The queen's a winner, moving like a seasoned ninja. I'm even tempered, never beefing like a vegan dinner. I found peace within my inner, that's a sweet surrender. Don't relive your lessons twice like repeat offenders. They'd rather see me decompose like leaves in the winter. Want me to undermine my shine and decrease my shimmer. While they competing in subliminal battles, I'm only fighting hidden parts of my invisible shadow. Cause I learned that people never want the bitter truth, just the sweetness. But you need both the light and dark to reach completeness. Goddamn, people throw rocks and hide their hands. Vindicate the wolves and they silence in the lambs. Fight to keep your soul purer than a sacred virgin. Even if you die and then rebirth into your latest version. Your fate is determined by how you shake the weight of burdens. You gotta save yourself, become your own favorite person. Ain't nothing new underneath the sun. I be going through it too, you ain't the only one. Don't take none of this life personal, cause we all got some lessons that we working through. Ain't nothing new underneath the sun. I be going through it too, you ain't the only one. Don't take none of this life personal, it's just the lessons that we working through. So why you tripping, huh? Why you mad, son? Had some good days and some bad ones. You might win some, might lose some. That's just the way it goes, life 101. Why you tripping, huh? Why you mad, son? Had some good days and some bad ones. That's just the way it goes, life 101. Yeah, life gon' be life until your day is done.
One life, 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 one life,
All right, family, and welcome back to the Ethereal Journey podcast. This is episode number 52. This is also the 1 year anniversary for the born of the Ethereal Journey podcast. All right. So shout out to all of those who stuck in with us. Tapped in early, tapped in late. Those who continue to support us, share, like, subscribe, and all of that good stuff. All right, so much appreciated once again as we celebrate the 1 year anniversary of the Ethereal Journey podcast. All right. I think we got some comments. Okay, cool. All right, I got my brother El Pollinator with me. He beamed off board, doing a little terraforming, doing a little exploration. He should be tapping back in shortly. All right, family. So that's one of the things we're going to be digging into for today. We're going to be getting into kind of the journey, the journey of the Ethereal Journey podcast, and kind of from which things came, where they are at presently, and where we will be moving into the future. So hopefully you all will take that ride, take that journey along with us as we continue to learn, grow, and develop. All right, so we're going to be talking about that aspect, the 1 year anniversary of the Theory of Journey podcast. We're also going to be discussing more and celebrating Black Music Month. As we know, presently this is Black Music Month. We can continue to celebrate that as well. And with that, we're going to be digging in and uncovering some hidden history as it pertains to the orchestrators, the pioneers, the creators and inventors and innovators of Black music, right? And those genres that the ancestors of Black people, the ancestors and descendants of um, the global diaspora Africanus, all right, the descendants of African people across the world, okay? And so we understand that the iterations of music that was developed here in the United States is the music that has taken form and taken shape and has proliferated all across the globe. Okay, and now it is known in other aspects of American music. All right, but we have to make sure that we're controlling our image and our narrative, taking control of our history and our lineage, and making sure that it is known, understood, and archived that we are the inventors, the progenitors of black music and the music that we see the many genres in the U.S. today. All right, so that's not just rap, hip hop, family. Okay, that is one of the latest iterations. But we have, jazz, we have the blues, we have R&B. Okay, we have bluegrass. All right, we have rock and roll. Okay, what is considered to be pop music today. The progenitors of these genres of music were indeed Black people. All right, family. So we're going to dig a little bit further into that history. All right, and be able to highlight and salute some of the ladies, some of the women that were instrumental in making music history. Okay. We also gonna be tapping into some things that are happening, current events. Of course, we want to tap into some Black facts, universal Black history. Hopefully, we'll be able to get into some aspects of optimum health and wellness, as well as developing and emerging technologies. All right, so that's what we are in store for this evening for the 1 year anniversary again of the Ethereal Journey podcast. It has been an absolute blast, and I thank you all for continuing to support us as we continue to evolve. All right, so we continuing on the Ethereal Journey evolution. All right, let me see what I got some comments here. Let me see what's going on. Okay. All right. All right. So with that, I guess I will get into some of the initial. Um, well, let me start. Let me before I get into the initial videos. Let me start with some of the makings of the ethereal journey. All right. So we went through a few different iterations of our logo, right, and of the different imagery that we're utilizing for the Ethereal Journey podcast. Yeah, the latest is the one that you see behind us currently. All right, the background screen. Okay, so that is the latest iteration of the Ethereal Journey podcast kind of logo. All right, and so that is the Universal Goddess, aka the Primordial Mother. All right, so that is our current iteration as far as our logo goes for the Ethereal Journey podcast. We went through a few other renditions. We had the original logo, and then we had some kind of stand-in logo-ish additions. And now, like I said, currently we are on the latest iteration of what you see currently with the uh, Universal Goddess. All right, let me see if I can pull up some of our past previous iterations that we had as far as our logo is concerned. Matter of fact, let me jump into this housekeeping real quick since I'm on it. Let me jump into this and knock this out real quick, and then we'll jump right back into the programming for this evening. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, let me go here for the disclaimers, etc. All right, so this should be showing up on the screen shortly. All right, there we go. This is fair use. All right, fair use notice in accordance with Title 17 USC Section 107. All right, this information is used for educational and informational purposes solely. All right. Okay, so let me stop my screen share there. Matter of fact, where's the? I got another. Here we go. Let me blow this up. Hit this next one. All right, content disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in the media or comments on this channel are those of the speakers or authors and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel broadcaster. Due to the social nature of this broadcasting channel, videos may contain content copyrighted by another entity or person. This channel owner claims no copyright to said content. The broadcaster of this channel cannot be held accountable for the copyrighted content. The broadcaster of this channel is a messenger and share of information and try to verify but cannot warrant the accuracy of copyrights or completeness of the information on this channel. If you have a complaint about something or find your content is being used incorrectly, please contact the broadcaster prior to making a copyright claim. Any infringement was not done on purpose and will be rectified to all parties' satisfaction. Let me stop my screen share there. All right, got the housekeeping out the way. All right, we got Sister Empress joining us as well. All right, excellent. All right, all right. With that being said, let me come. Matter of fact, while I'm doing that, I'm gonna pull up some of our old imagery for past Ethereal Journey kind of logos and that sort of imagery. I'm gonna pull it up in a second for a little bit of nostalgia. While I'm doing that, let me come to the Ethereal Journalists and tap in really quickly, tapping in, checking in, seeing how everything is, seeing how y'all been. All right. With that being said, let me come over to um, Sister Chi, Empress Chi. Tapping in, how you be, how you been? How's everything going today?
All right, everything is good, Brother Lumumba. Loving this weather and looking forward to our anniversary ethereal journey.
I say. All right, all right. Let me come over. Oh yeah. Before I come to Brother Pollinator, any updates that you wanted to share? Anything happening presently in the near future that you want to share with the listening audience, Sister Empress?
So, Brother Lumumba, I actually am in transit, so it's a little noisy. So I'm going to hold on that for a few moments.
Okay, all right, no
All
problem.
right,
No problem.
thank
Come
you.
on that. All right, excellent. With that being said, let me come over to Brother Pollinator checking in. How you be? How you been?
Oh man, Captain Uncage, Sister Empress Chi, rolling on the soul train, trying to get home. I hear you, but I like to ditto the celebration and the energy of our first anniversary. Our year anniversary is actually tomorrow, the 17th. But since today is the show, we doing it today because we ain't gonna do it on a Wednesday because we always have done it on a Tuesday for the whole year. So I just want to thank all of our supporters, all of those who have engaged and who have interacted with this show. I'm just hoping that, during this whole year anniversary or this whole year that we've been doing the Ethereal Journey podcast, that someone gained some things from it. Somebody learned some history of who we are as a nation of people who have done great things in the universe, in the cosmos, in the world, and everything that is creation that our great mother has given unto us to be a creators, to be the original peoples, the primordials that know what we are and who we are because we know ourselves. We have knowledge of self, as in know thyself. So I just want to, just hope that everyone going into this next year will continue to, gain their knowledge of self, continue to better themselves first and foremost, so that when we come together collectively, we'll be all on the same frequency. WITS, WITS 96.3. Check it out. Wisdom Internal Technology Systems. That's what we are. When we all are on the same frequency, the same vibration, the same wavelength, we can get some things done. But we got to first do the internal technology piece first, and then we can do the external piece, because it's always as above and so below, as within, so without. So with that being said, let's continue on this ethereal journey, and let's get this first anniversary show rocking and rolling. Captain Uncaged, let's blast off. One.
All right. Indeed. I say. All right. With that being said, let me just see if I can come in real quick and be able to share some of the iterations of the Ethereal Journey podcast. All right. Let me see. This is okay. Here we go. Right here. This is the original logo. All right. Let me share this here. Come in. Go ahead and share my screen. All right. Now you might have seen this in the promo piece as well. If you got that email, I do apologize. I was not able to send out my usual reels for social media, so I do apologize for that. But this is one of the images that you would have seen in that thumbnail. All right, this is one of the original logos for the Ethereal Journey podcast. All right. All right, so we've gone from that um, iteration there. Let me stop my screen share there. Okay, to what you see behind us presently. Let me see if I can change the orientation to show that screen. Okay, there we go. All right, and that is the current, updated, recent um, iteration of the Ethereal Journey podcast kind of logo. All right. Okay. All right, so just a quick blast from the past. And with that, I want to just get into a brief dialogue on with the journalists and see, I just want to get y'all perspectives, ethereal journalists, on uh, how kind of look. What is your outlook on the progression of the Ethereal Journey podcast, coming from its inception, and coming through, kind of where we are now, and kind of where you envision things developing, moving on into the future. All right, kind of what was your initial kind of inspiration, motivation? How did you see things as it first was developing? How are you seeing things presently, and then how are you seeing things as we continue to evolve into the future? With that being said, let me open it up with Brother Pollinator, and then I'm gonna see if Sister Empress has a little bit more audible, and have her chime in. Brother Pollinator, what's your take?
Yeah, run the link that I put in there to start what I want to say off on, and I'm going to put the other. This is the beginning on one of the beginning promos that we did when we first started a year ago.
Okay. Let me jump into that
Yeah,
real quick.
run
Let
that
me
real
share
quick.
the screen. Okay. Copy that. A little bit of nostalgia, a little bit of throwback for the fans. Check out one of our initial promos for the Ethereal Journey podcast. All right, that should be coming up shortly. And okay, let me go ahead and share my screen. Up, boom. Okay, let me share my screen on that note. Yeah, it's a oldie but a goodie. Go ahead and share screen with that. Okay, share screen. Boom. Okay, there it is. All right. All right, this will be popping up shortly. Okay, there it is. All right, cool.
The Ethereum Journey podcast is designed to provide qualitative research, information, and in-depth analysis that will enable necessary expounding and elevation of our ever-expanding bright and brilliant future. Destiny and reality, the mind and soul. We're the true Ethereum peoples and journals who are now on the journey of truth, justice, honor, balance, and righteousness. We invite you to join us.
True.
You gotta run that. You gotta run that Sun Ra now because I just put it in the chat. They gotta see. They gotta hear the Sun Ra too. Check 1 2. Can you hear me, Captain Uncaged?
Check. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can. So yeah, run that
Check. Can you
Sun
hear me?
Ra. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. One of my devices acting up though. That's what I always do too.
That's all good. Yeah, run that Sun Ra, and then we'll continue on. They got to hear that Sun Ra.
All right, let me see if I can pull it on my other device. Because this one, okay, I think it's popping up now. This will give me a little trouble.
That's all right. Gonna work through the technical difficulties.
Yeah, let me pull it up on my other device. Get it rocking from there. All right. Let me share my screen. I think I got it. Okay, that should be pulled up now. All right, this is one of our other. All right, let me let it rock. This is one of our other promos. All right, that was the Ether promo. Now we have the Sun Ra promo. All right, let's let it rock.
The Ethereum Journey podcast is designed to provide qualitative research, information, and in-depth analysis that will enable necessary expounding and elevation of our ever-expanding bright and brilliant future, destiny and reality. While we journal, you journey through the traveling of the mind and soul. We're the true Ethereum peoples and journals who are now on the journey of truth, justice, honor, balance, and righteousness. We invite you to join us.
Space is the place, yeah. Space is the place. Space is the place. Space is the place. Space is the place, yeah. Space.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
That was some of our initial promo pieces for the Ethereal Journey podcast. All right, that's when we was just getting our first steps in. You know what I'm saying? We was crawling. We was crawling. All right. So let
Yeah.
me thank you, brother Pollinator, for that brief expose. So what was when you first came in, kind of what was your inspiration, motivation? What was your perception, your perception for that time period of where you saw the Ethereal Journey podcast, from its inception, and then how you're looking at it in its present form, and what you're looking at as far as evolutionarily moving to the future.
Great question, Captain Uncaged. I think, when we first initially conceptualized the ethereal journey concept, we wanted to find out how can we bring information to the masses that's, not filtered, but straight with no chaser, uncut to the gut type of information, so that people can be able to see things besides what other medias are showing us in the, the regular normal news media. I looked at Ethereal Journal as the journalist, first and foremost. We all are researchers, fact checkers. We have an understanding of most of the subject matters that we go over from A to I. I'm not even going to say what they are right now because I can't even put them in my brain. But we knew that the topics had to be interesting for the masses or the public to, be able to consume the information that we're putting out there, which is going to be positive, it's going to be negative, and it's going to be indifferent, and it's going to be in between, and wherever else that the person may think it is. But nevertheless, it is great information to help build them on their ethereal journey as well. I'm talking about our audience that will be tuning in. So I always thought about, okay, if I wanted to have a show and be able to speak some of the things that we have learned and gained through our lifetime experience, like with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, as well as understanding, outerstanding, and overstanding, and the things that we knew and how we have became who we became because we have went through those different schools of thought, those different spokes in the wheel in order to get our journey up, to share those journeys, to share information so that the knowledge of self that we've gained can sort of be, each one teach one type of thing. So one of the main reasons why when Sister Chi came to me and said, "Hey, what do you think about doing the Ethereal Journey podcast?" We didn't even have a name at that time, but just coming together and doing a podcast. Then we, got together, did all the, brainstorming to find a good name that would sort of incorporate everything about who we are. Number one, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, connected to the universe. Because at the end of the day, the universal story is us. It's in our blood. It's in our DNA. It's in our DEA. It's written in our technology, our internal technology, our it. So we came up with the Ethereal Journey podcast. And I know you were the progenitor of even just kicking that information out and the idea that we needed to have another podcast. So I just want to credit you as well, Captain Uncaged, for being the initial person that brought forth the interest of putting this show together. So I just want to give you some kudos and some commendations on that as well. So yeah, pretty much that's where I wanted to, the show to go to and to evolve from the conception to the 52nd episode, which we're on tonight, our first year anniversary. I'd say we're still a young person right now, which is good. We have room and to grow. We have room to evolve, ascend, transcend, because this is our journey, and we're willing to accept the fact that we want all people to be able to accept their journey as well and be a part of ours. And as that comes together, we become together collectively because we have knowledge of self, or we gain more knowledge of self through what we're doing in our efforts with the Ethereal Journey podcast. So pretty much, that's, pretty much where my idea was when we first conceptualized the whole Ethereal Journey concept a year ago. Matter of fact, exactly tomorrow on June 17th, 2025 is when we did our first episode. So with that being said, upward, onward, UFO, like I always say, we going upward, forward, and onward. Now you can either get on the Ethereal with us, or you're gonna get left behind. And it's nothing wrong with getting left behind, because you might not be ready to ascend, transcend, and do the things that we're asking for people to continue to work on within their internal technology. But hey, we're not gonna stop this ship from moving forward. The mothership, like who was it that had that song? George Clinton, the Parliament, Funkadelic. We on the mothership. We trying to get to the mothership. So move, follow, or get the heck out the way, because this thing is going up, forward and onward. I yield.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you for that addition, Brother Pollinator. Let me come over to Sister Empress to see if our audio is a go right now.
Yep. A-okay.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, this is really exciting and a great, I think, accomplishment that we've made with this 1 year anniversary of Ethereal Journey. And for me to start it really was very important, because I'm always making certain that I can do things that is going to help elevate and exemplify our ancestors, the work of our ancestors, and also some of the accomplishments and contributions. And again, and particularly for me, for Ethereal Journey, there was an importance to make certain that we continued the work of some of our metaphysicists, because you don't hear much about them in a lot of conversations and a lot of interactions. And so to bring forward the work of Dr. Richard King and Dr. Blair, and it's so many, but yet you don't hear much about what they were teaching. You hear something about some of the present day ones, but not some of the people who really were groundbreaking in bringing forward information. George G.M. James, for example, people don't know much about him. And even though he might not have been considered a metaphysicist per se, he was a physicist, and he certainly created not only a buzz, but an interest, and also brought clarity when it came to the sciences of so-called Freemasonry, and talked about how, of course, the so-called Greeks got their information from what was known as the Egyptians. And so for him to write that kind of book in 1952-ish, I mean, that was groundbreaking. So again, we are kind of the tools, for lack of a better word, to help bring forward some of the work of some of the great ones, and of course, to make certain that we grow and develop, and that you all grow and develop, and in doing this work, it enables us all to do that. But now, and after this 1 year, I'm also very clear that it was a preparation for all of us. As Elle said, for some who are ready, and even for some who are not ready, it's still a preparation for you, because at some point we feel that most, if not all, will be ready at some point. So either way, it's still a preparational kind of time, and it's going to help. It's already, I'm sure, helping, but it will help even further. And with that said, we're gearing up for next year. And this is why I know that this is a divine mission for real, because next year we are literally planning to go to Mali. And you are all the first to really hear more of the in-depth reality of that, because I really just today was working on it further. But going to Mali is going to enable us to tap into some energy, synergy, that I strongly believe is going to be a real game changer. And that is because the Dogon peoples will be launching their 60-year, and well, they do it every 60 years. And next year it goes into effect. And it is the recognition of the concept, the energy, and so forth, that they were able to obtain from what is known as the Sirius system, A and B. And so we're planning to go to Mali, to do not only fact finding, but to be able to examine and learn and interact with a tradition, with a history, in such a way that here we had a group of our people who were talking about a star that you could not see unless you had a telescope. And they were already talking about it, interacting with it, and doing, all kinds of in, I'm not going to say ritual, but they were doing all kinds of things that were connecting to it. And so they've been doing it for hundreds of years. So again, we're literally planning to go to Mali next year. And so Ethereal Journey is helping us to prepare even for that. Because as we examine what's going on in the universe now, as we have been for the past year, certainly we're going to be ready for what we encounter next year. And I think, again, it is going to be powerful. So we're going to keep you all certainly abreast of that, because it'll be towards the end of next year. And of course, we're hoping to take, some folks that may want to go and enjoy this incredible, or be a part of this incredible adventure, to see and hear the music, the dance, the art, but also the spiritual rejuvenation is what it's also going to be. So again, ethereal then, ethereal now, and ethereal for the future.
Indeed, indeed. All right. Much appreciated for that addition. And, excellent, excellent information. Indeed, indeed. Um, Paula, do you have something you want to add in there?
No, no, I'm waiting for you for your turn. I want to, hear your spill on what you feel from the inception of this, the conception of Ethereal Journey till now, and the evolvement and everything, and how you feel, and what are your assessment of everything? Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So no, you just had a little bit of echo in your background, so I just hit that real quick. But yeah, yeah, most definitely. Um, it's been an incredible journey. All right. So upon its inception, um, it was interesting. I've been like having the idea concept for like several different podcasts. Like I'm always thinking about these things. I've been working towards developing, kind of a media outlet type of platform, and getting into aspects of journalism, right? With some of the things that I've been working on in the interim, kind of in the background, different organizations, so on and so forth. And so, but I was apprehensive to do a podcast solo, so I like the effects of having several different perspectives. It's kind of culminating, coming together, and being able to disseminate different information, and also to have checks and balances, fact checks, different ebbs and flows and things of that nature, to build like a chemistry, on with our productions. All right, and so with that, I was actually talking to Empress one day, and this was right after a previous podcast, showing for New Day, Resurrection, and Liberation, if I'm not mistaken. And I believe on this occasion, Brother Pollinator was a guest correspondent on there, and we also it was featuring Brother Black. I could be a little bit off. It was a little while ago, but I know Black, Brother Black was on there. Shout out to Brother Black, and shout out to Thorough Black Talk Worldview, Sister Keisha Cape Fighter, um, and brother, I'm not sure if Brother Tad is still on there. I know he got his OG Wisdom podcast now. Sister Marcia as well. All right. So shout out to Thorough Black Talk Worldview. All right. And so, but anyway, Brother Black, he had came on board as well, and just kind of based on, matter of fact, I think it was y'all were on together, and kind of based on um, the synergy there, based on the vibes and the chemistry that was there. I was like, you know what, it'll be kind of dope, and some of the subject matter that both of you, oftentimes would touch base on and would dig into, kind of the things that were in your wheelhouse that was outside of the normal, regular discussions, conversations, as pertains to different podcasts, getting into elements of the esoteric, getting into elements of the cosmos, and even tapping into some things dealing with possible extraterrestrial presences and things of that nature. And interestingly enough, which has been a lot more exposed as of recently, as of present, right? So some of the things that we were discussing during our initial kickoff podcast episodes are now kind of coming more to light and being more exposed, all right, as the different files are being made public, so on and so forth, with UAPs and such. And so I just thought it'd be kind of dope. I'm like, yo, if we just pull, like Pollinator and Black together, and we just kind of pull together like a mixture, it'll be a dope type of podcast because it's like thought provoking, entertaining, educational, um and also like controversial, provocative, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, this will kind of be dope. And so I kind of threw that out there, just kind of like brainstorming things of that nature. And at the time, I wanted to be involved in it as well, but I was going through a lot. It was a transitional period for me, so I was going through things, economically, dealing with different jobs and trying to make sure I was stabilized with everything financially. And so I was like taking a step back because I was doing a lot. I was doing like I was doing bi-weekly meetings, men's meetings. I was doing I think it was bi-weekly meetings or maybe monthly meetings that I was doing for political prisoners. So I had the Mighty Mahatma and Violent Action Network. I had International People's Committee for Judicial Justice. I was participating with Free Kamal Siddiqui meetings, as well as meetings for coordinating for Free Babumi Abu Jamal, and I was just kind of doing a lot of different things at that time. So I kind of had to fall back and kind of regroup. And so during that time period, Sister Empress had actually pitched the idea, and I didn't even know at that time period. It was maybe like a week later when I kind of caught wind that there was a development of the podcast, and it was almost kind of like divinely assigned and whatnot. Because when I kind of caught wind of it, I just was like, I think I jumped in on one of the meetings, and I didn't feel as though I was quite ready to kind of jump into the fray, but things just progressed in such a way where I just kind of went with the spirit, and I was like, well, I don't want to stagnate myself by not, feeling like I can or I'm not ready, so on and so forth. So I was just like, I'm just kind of take a leap of faith with things and just kind of keep pushing forward. I kind of did that through the interim of things that was happening at that time. That's a story for another day, but it got crazy.
Right, right.
It got crazy. I was like literally living, walking, and moving by faith. So I was just like, okay, if it's meant to be, then it shall be. So I jumped in, and it was kind of like I said, like divinely aligned. It was on point because there was like some stagnation with the development of the podcast. Folks was like supposed to be doing this, supposed to be doing that, and then it was kind of like circling around the actual launch of the podcast. And when I came on board, I was just like, let's do it next week, Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? And it was like it kind of like jarred things forward. Like, and then I was able to come in and kind of like help formulate things and help to structure things so that we could even, it was like, yo, even if we do a soft launch, you know what I'm saying, with a premiere and then just build from there. So we was like, all right, let's just rock and go for it. We all came together with that, and it just started building and taking momentum from there. And as they say, long story short, you know, up springs the Ethereal Journey podcast. So like that initial logo that you saw, that was like a rough draft. You know what I mean? Just like, oh, let's put something together. You know what I'm saying? Exponentially, because we need something to signify, the podcast, so on and so forth. So and then we just was rolling from there. We had a sister on board, and she was doing the graphic designs and things of that nature. That was kind of her wheelhouse, and I was coming in with some of the structure and formulating like production aspects, things of that nature. And we came together, we culminated, and it just started hitting and rolling, and then like a snowball, it just kept building. And so where we're at now, I'm super super proud. You know what I'm saying? Because we took a lot of strides and a lot of movement forward, from our original to where we at currently. Originally we was doing it on Zoom, and I think Facebook Live. We just doing the work, we was able to touch base with the brother, the platform that we on now with Dula Knowledge Radio, and Brother Knowledge Born Allah. He invited us on board to his platform, where we continue to build and evolve the podcast and the platform. All right. So now we on StreamYard. That allowed us to also build out on YouTube. So we have the content that's building up there, been able to build up viewership and things of that nature, and continue to build, on the baby, on the project. And so we have, some of the latest iterations with the imagery, and also with the promos and things of that nature, with the reels and the shorts for the different social media platforms. And so a lot of times, growth is not convenient, right? It's not you know smoothly ushered in, right? There's what they call growing pains, right? And so being able to push through some of those things and persevere, come out the other side, is super rewarding. You know what I'm saying? So within that, I've developed a multitude of skills that was kind of necessary at the time, and it just helps to build within like my overall scope of things, like within my portfolio, within my kind of creative space. So and I was able to do more with some of the developing technology, utilizing AI, utilizing the different apps to formulate imagery and graphic design and things of that nature. So it's opened up kind of a new wheelhouse for me within that regard. So um, again, I'm just ecstatic. I'm proud, and I'm just glad I was able to come into the fold and help to build what is currently the Ethereal Journey evolution. All right, and so in the future, I see like the potential for major platform and outlet. You know what I'm saying? To really have an expanding aspects of a media company, right, and a media type of entity. So being able to expand out into like newsletters. We're working on merchandise right now. That should be that's soon to be released. You know what I'm saying? So we have some other elements and components that we're going to be adding on to continue to build. And so, like I said, I see this, being a major platform in the near future. We will, we have in mind for app development, for the platform, and the building out the website, and just continuing to build within the scope of media, independent Black media, and continue to offer qualitative uh, information that's educational, that's empowering, that's edifying to the masses of our people. All right, and we're gonna be looking to build our own at the same time. That's why I was talking about the app. So to be subscription based, so we can be more autonomous, more independent, and not be subject to being pulled, from different social media parent companies that which we don't own, right? So we want to make sure that we maintain ownership, and with the help and support of the listening audience, and all those who are feeling the vibration and the frequency of the Ethereal Journey podcast, with your continued support, it'll definitely come to fruition.
Yes, indeed. I tell you, that's the biggest word I got from your whole conversation right there was evolution, evolving. You know, is what we talk about all the time. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
So it's a story. There's backstories behind the big story. There's storylines that we all come from. You come from a storyline. Sister Empress Chi comes from a storyline. I come from a storyline. The ones who were with us that began this journey, they have their own storyline. So there's a lot of great backstories that encompass who we are as the people, and it's a challenging thing, but it's also a beautiful thing, because the journey, I always tell people, when you're on a journey, don't get, down or and caught up in a negative frequency or vibration. Look at the journey as something that is just as much something you want to go through, but be positive, be, look forward toward the future. Think about how you as a person is going to make it from point A to point B, and enjoy the journey. Everything in this world we got around us, as we know, will always siphon your energy with fear, doubt, disbelief. A lot of people's energy is being siphoned right now and harvested, because that's what the matrix does. But when you're on that journey and you're going to be impacted by the external things that happen around you, don't let the external things change you to a lower root chakra vibration within yourself, but keep and maintain that heart chakra on up to the throat, to the first eye, as well as to your crown. Because at the end of the day, all kings, queens that I've known throughout the history of our people have went through something, and they've overcome it, and they've always evolved from that experience. That's why I always tell people I have no regrets, only life experiences and lessons learned. I yield.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you for that addition, brother Follenberg. Absolutely. Yes, indeed. All right. So with that being said, family, we just wish that you would, we invite you to continue to sojourn with us through this trip across the galaxies, right? Mentally, esoterically, right? And as we continue to move forward, we hopes in hopes that you move forward with us and continue to learn, grow, and develop, to elevate, to evolve, and to transcend, family, because that is ultimately where everyone on this type of journey, ultimately that is the end goal and objective. All right. All right, family. So with that being said, let me come to our first clip for this evening. All right, let me jump in here, and let's share this. All right, let me share my screen here. Okay, quick screen share. Okay, here it is. And speaking of, now let me jump to some black facts, family. All right, so let's get it. So this is the one and only Dr. Richard King. All right, speaking on melanin. All right, one of the subject matters. I think he's going to touch on PTSD as well, um, also known as post-traumatic slavery syndrome. All right, PTSS. All right, let's jump into it.
When Solon visited Egypt, he was bragging, and again, 50 BC, 550 BC is after the Assyrians had occupied Egypt 666 BC. It is before the Persians, then they got free of that. Before the Persians came in 525, and certainly before we came in 332 BC. But anyway, Solon was bragging to the high priest at the city of On. He says, look, we have all these ancient people. And the high priest stood up and said, Solon. And there's a reference to this in the works of Plato in the Timaeus. It says, you Greeks are always children. That's the important thing to take note. You Greeks are always children. Meaning he had assigned to them, says, you know nothing about the people who live where you now live, who were there before you got there, but periodically there are great geological catastrophes, and when they happen, the people who survive, rather than pick up where the others had left off, they have to go all the way back to the beginning all over again. So that's three things. One is that when a catastrophe like that takes place, that people go through permanent PTSD. Post-traumatic stress is a very important clinical condition to be studied. That you can be out of connection with your ancestral base. You can get out of connection with your ancestral base because you have to go through the horrors and memories of what they went through. So many of us, as my brother asked the question just a little while ago, don't want to remember what it was like to be a slave. Don't want to remember what it was like to see your mother being crucified. Don't want to remember to see your father being castrated. Don't want to remember what it was like to see yourself being beat down because you didn't bow to Mr. Charlie. Don't want to remember none of that. And in doing so, you give up your emotions. You give up your emotional responsibility, as Dr. John Clark says. History teaches you where you are now, how you got there, and what is your responsibility to do about it. So you can look at that and see, well, Mama went through that. Oh no, there has to be some judgment day on that one. There has to be some vindication. We can't just pass over that. No, because I'm carrying too much weight. My children are carrying too much weight. Secondly, it makes known that the Europeans were defined as people who were neophytes. They had only gone as far as grade 1. They had not gone to grades 2 or 3. Therefore, they were considered to be children. When they, with their white mind, look at their black ancestors, the common root that I get is envy and jealousy. Envy and jealousy. You got more than I got. Where were you when I was in the cave? Where were you when I was up there in that ice box and inside that high mountain valley surrounded by those 5,000-foot glaciers? 5-mile glaciers. Where were you? And jealousy. There's another discussion which we need to really expand upon. What kinds of wrong deeds have these people done with their own African communities that made the African community exile them into those northern regions? So that's a story we got to have some dialogue on. What had happened? What kinds of misdeeds had been done? If you're going to tear down the black god, then what was that all about? What was all that about? If you're going to have a idolized white ice and put down blackness, what's all that about? So the post-traumatic stress syndrome, the issue of the being stuck in grade 1, and then this issue of coming to terms with the struggles between the Chilans post-ice ages as they face 2012. If Africans have left this planet and gone to other planets, then are the other mother's planes or starship bodies waiting for the right time to come back so they can have a decent conversation with their cousins?
All right. Let me stop my screen share there. Okay, let me come to the Ethereal journalist. For any weighing in on Dr. Richard King. Any additions on Dr. Richard King?
Okay, well, I mean that you're really hitting the nail on the head, as they say, because yeah, Dr. Richard King was definitely for me in growth and development as a young student. He was one of my favorites. He still is, actually. And a lot of people don't know much about him, but oh my goodness. When we talk about the third eye, or we talk about the pineal gland, For me, I mean, that's where I learned about, the representation of the pineal gland in terms of, what it really was, how it actually functioned. That came from Dr. Richard King. And if you ever take the time to read some of his work, I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. So big ups, Brother Moon, with that. I had no idea you were going to be playing him or, bringing some of his information forward. But definitely a giant, definitely one that we should make certain that his work continues. And I would challenge folk that know anything about the pineal gland. I would just ask, where did you get it from? Where did you learn it from? And particularly when it comes to someone Black, someone highly melanated. Of course, people can get information from Webster or, encyclopedia or whatever. But where did you get that information from that was actually relevant to us specifically? And 9 times out of 10, it's going to lead back to Dr. Richard King or one of his colleagues.
Absolutely. All right. Coming over to Brother Pollinator. Any additions on this clip?
Man, now you threw us a alley hoop on that one. I wasn't expecting that one either, like Sister Chi was saying. But that's good though, because it keeps us sharp, it keeps us on our toes. You know what I mean? Yes, that brother there just he said a whole lot that we talk about all the time. Mm-hmm. How we are the original people. Y'all are the other nations, specifically the Japhethites, who actually were the Edomites, who were, like he said, exiled up into the mountains, who became your Neanderthals and your Denisovians. They were the ones that now were jealous and envious because they were exiled. They were the one cast out because of them not wanting to do what they were supposed to do at the times. And then how he spoke about the planets and how, coming back, to check on your cousins. Because actually, in reality, if you're from the lineage of the Japhethites, because there was Ham, Japhethite, and there was the Shem. See, you would know that we all really are family. Mm-hmm. So this right now, what we're going through really is unfinished family business that happened way back then. And there's a lot of bad blood still associated with that family business. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of revenge involved with it. It's a lot of bloodline and lineage conflicts within it, because they don't want to recognize us as the originators and the primordials who they came from. And he touched on a lot of those things in that 1 minute or however many minute clip that was that you put out there. And he also mentioned about coming back in from the star systems and coming down to check on your cousins to make sure they're doing okay.
That's right.
And that was deep for me, because that's what we talk about all the time. That, right. We talk about these things that, we just didn't pop up on the scene crispy and clean. You know what I mean? No, we came in here on some Star Child, like Parliament Funkadelic and all them always talk about. We're star children. We come from the cosmos. We're the sun. We're the moon. We're all the stars. We're the Mother Earth. We're everything that you see and you look at every time you walk out the door. Our veins come from the grass. Our hair comes from the grass. Our eyes come from the sun. Our bones come from the stone or the rock of the earth. Our blood comes from the water or the dew of the earth. Our flesh comes from the brown ground from the earth. Our spirit comes from the breath of the Almighty. And how the clouds look light and airy. Our souls come from the wind and the breath, because you can see the wind where it comes from, but you don't know, well, you can't see it where it's coming from nor where it's going. So are all of us who are born of that same spirit. We come from everything in the physical as well as in the supernatural world. We're half heaven, we're half earth, we're half supernatural, we're half natural, we're half good, we're half evil. We encompass, well, a lot of people, some people are just straight up evil now because they don't understand how to integrate their dark side. So I won't say most people understand that whole concept of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. You know, they may have an understanding of the tree of life, which is eternal, meaning our energy does not die. We continue on no matter which way it goes. But he brought a lot of things out, and especially talking about the pineal gland and understanding the whole essence of who we are when you look at everything from that first eye versus the two eyes that were given to you. You know, the word pineal gland or pineal is even in the books that these people sit up in church and read every day. Because Jacob went to Peniel and wrestled with the Most High. And see, people think that's a place, but in the scriptures, that was a metaphor. Peniel meaning the face of El. He wrestled with the face of El within his pineal gland, because you cannot see the Most High in your natural realm of time and space in your fleshly body and live. Moshe learned that when he asked, "Can I see you?" And she said, "No, I got to turn my back to you and you can't look at me. Because if you look at me, no mortal can." It's almost like Medusa. You'll die right on the spot. Even Moshe had, when he came back down from the mountaintop, he had already the glory of the Most High. His aura had changed. His auric field had changed because she allowed him to look at her backside. But if he would have looked at her straight up, he would have been just like Medusa. He would have turned into a daggone stone. That's how powerful the energy of our great mother is, the spirit of our mother. So Jacob wrestled with the Most High and saw the face of El, but he did it inside, internally, within himself, not without, with the natural five senses that we have, but he did it within his pineal gland. He wrestled with the Most High, because that's where we really are connected to the great mother spirit, because it says, "Know you not that your body is the temple of the Most High?" Well, where's your temples at? Right near your eyes. And between your temples is what? Your pineal gland. That's why it says you are the temple, meaning this body, this technology, this eternal technology was not built by the hands of man. It was built by our great mother of the universe from her matrix, from her womb. And this is what people don't understand. Even Yahusha was trying to tell them, the kingdom is not outside of yourself. The kingdom is within, because we are the bodies. We are the temples of our mother who we are born of. Now, there's a difference between those who were created and those who were born. If you know you were born, that means you predate even everything that you currently see in existence right now, the sun, the moon, the stars, and even the angels. I knew you before the foundations of the world, she said in Proverbs. So therefore, people need to get the things that they claim to be spiritual or religious about to a much more scientific level, because religion ain't nothing but realigning, as I say, the legions of evil ones that wanted to flip the script, change the divine story, and make it theirs. And that's what you currently see going on in all religions today. That's why I don't subscribe to religion. I am the temple of the Most High. The kingdom of heaven is within me. The kingdom of heaven is within you. We don't need to go outside of ourselves externally. We need to go internally and tap into that internal technology, that real it that's within and not without. And with that being said, that brother, you shouldn't have put that one up, bro, 'cause we could be up here for the next 2 hours talking about this. So I'm gonna yield right now and not get that deep.
So let me just do a little sidebar, because I like to give a little history about Dr. Richard King, kind of bring it down to earth for a minute. So one of the things that people may not know, and there used to be a publication, it's really hard to find now, but it was called the Aquarian Journal, I believe, the Aquarian Journal. Now, he had a center. He and other brothers and sisters were a part of what was known as the Aquarian Spiritual Society, right? And so, again, this just shows you how they dealt with spirituality. And we're talking about in the 1960s. Okay, so now the interesting thing about the center that they had, there was a mysterious fire that occurred. And it destroyed, a lot of documents, a lot of books, and so forth. This was an educational center that focused on like metaphysics, higher learning, and so forth. And again, we're talking about in the 60s, early 60s. And so this was in California. And keeping in mind, again, Dr. Richard King was, in fact, a psychiatrist. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times when you hear people talk about Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, who were some of the influences for her, right? Because she went into psychiatry. And note, Dr. Richard King also wrote books on what? Melanin. Mm-hmm. One of his famous books was, of course, Melanin, A Key to Freedom, and also the African origin of biological psychiatry. So again, as we proceed, we have to tap more into some of these fields that people are relating to it from a very European frame of reference. We have to look at some of our people who went through those schools, but was able to come through it and then make certain that they were able to present the information that was relevant to us, by us, for us. So again, big ups to Dr. Richard King.
Indeed, absolutely.
What's your spiel, Captain Uncaged?
I mean, just a phenomenal brother, thinker, philosopher. And a lot of the times we don't really, as well as his professional acumen as far as psychiatrists and studying psychology. And so, just a stellar example of some of our premier elders and master teachers. A lot of the times when we think about philosophers and philosophy, we're often pushed or indoctrinated with aspects of Greek and Eurocentric type of perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just ecstatic, super pleased that we're able to provide another perspective of philosophy that is coming from our lineage, from our history, and to provide, another viewpoint of how things develop, how we can think about things, contextualize things based, not just on theory, but on historical fact, right? And how we're able to tie and interweave these things together and formulate, concepts and ideas that can help to sustain us not only in the present, but also catapult us into the future. So this brother was an excellent example of one of those type of individuals. All right, so this is just one of many, family, of our master teachers. And as we continue on this journey, we're going to continue to unveil, to reveal, and to share some of these individuals with you, and also as well as group entities and organizations. So
you know what's so funny about this whole conversation? I know we're going in a whole different direction. That like you said, we letting the ethereal spirit lead us. We moving towards that level. Yes, but you look at the magic that Disney has created. You look at the magic that Hollywood has created. You look at all the technology within the last 50 or 60 years that was created and who benefited from that. And even the ones who were of our nation, of people who did these things, they stole that and then they turned it into their magic. They became the ones who claimed to be the progenitors or the originator creators of those things. See, they stole a lot of our philosophical stuff as well as our, cultural stuff. But ultimately, where they're at now, that's where the real power is. Because if you could take a word, put it through a phone, put it through a TV, put it through a radio and transmit it and have a receiver on that end, you're tapping into what we call the Akashic records. But see, the Akashic records can be hacked. It could be sort of jacked by what we call the low dimensional spiritual elements that run this 3D matrix, but they cannot tap into the acoustic records. See, they've gotten a lot of their technology to be able to send words through the universe, even into outer space, from tapping into that essence of who these dimensional beings is that were here, that gave them this information as well, who come from us as well. Okay, let's be real. You're talking about insectoids, you're talking about reptilians, you're talking about Nordics, the tall whites, and you're talking about the grays. But they don't know nothing about the dragon. Well, they know about the dragon. Okay? Because the dragon is the highest level. That's why they had the movies about it in the last few years. They know who in the essence of the spiritual or animal nature, as well as the consuming fire. They know that at the highest level, that's where we come from. The fiery ones, the burning ones. That's what seraphim means. A fiery serpent. Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, all of them are of the darkness and came out of the darkness into the light. Okay? And that's the highest level of the spiritual beings of the universe. So y'all could be these little on the other little animals, these lower dimensional spiritual elements or whatever, but at the highest level, they know that we come from those bloodlines and lineages spiritually as well as physically in our DNA and our DEA, because it's written in our storyline, it's written in our blood. So bottom line is, when we start talking about these ethereal things that they've taken and they've made billions of dollars, they've been given some help, and we have been turned back because we were under certain things that we failed to do to continue our reign and our dominion over this earth. But now those things are coming back to the originators, the primordials, who we are. So this is an exciting time to be alive, and those who stole, they're going to pay. They're going to pay for what they did, because we suffered because of their actual stealing of who we are as a people, turning our magic into their magic, and creating the Disneylands and the big movie studios and all of this stuff through artificial intelligence. But guess what? We're ancient intelligence, AI. So all that little artificial stuff they're doing right now is getting ready to be overtaken by the ancient intelligence. I yield.
All right. Ashe. And I thank you for that addition as we go deep. All right, thank you for that addition, Brother Pollinator. All right, family. So, that's how the ball bounces, as they say sometimes, you know what I mean? As we get inspired, we might have to expound on different subject matters and go off script a little bit. But, definitely potent and poignant information and perspectives. So thank you for those additions on our on ancestor, Dr. Richard, and making sure that we're bringing some of those thoughts, perspectives, ideas, and so forth, bringing them through into the present and moving on into the future. All right. With that being said, let me come to my next clip. All right. We're going to touch base on a little bit more Black facts, universal Black history. Okay. So I believe now we're going to tap in with our sister Ashley, the Baroness. All right. So let me go ahead and share my screen on that note, and then we'll come back to you all for I'll come back to the Ethereal journalists for commentary, and then I'll see if I can open up the floor if there's any comments in or any posts in our comments. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, that should be up. Okay, wow, that was okay. I'm trying to bring it back.
Open your whole brain. That was this man. He didn't just, you ever read something and it feels like it cracked open your whole brain? That was this man. He didn't just teach history, he exposed the game. And that's exactly why they killed him. Meet Walter Rodney. He was a historian, professor, revolutionary thinker, born in Guyana in 1942. And from early on, he didn't play by the rules of empire. He went to school in Jamaica and earned his PhD from the University of London, writing one of the boldest books of the 20th century, How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. The title alone should tell you the vibe. Rodney didn't tiptoe around colonialism. He said it plain. Europe did not develop Africa, it drained it, ransacked it, restructured it, made it dependent, and then had the nerve to act like they were doing Africa a favor. He taught poor Black people their worth, their history, and their global power. And the elite hated him for it. When Jamaica banned him from re-entering the country in 1968, after he'd been teaching the masses and organizing students, people rioted. Straight up, it's literally called the Rodney Riots now. He went back to Guyana and started organizing the working class there too. But the government, they were scared of him. Not because he had weapons, but because he had truth. And people were listening. And in 1980, he was assassinated by a car bomb, planted by an agent of the state. He was only 38 years old. That's what happens when a Black man starts telling the world that revolution only begins when you start knowing your history. Walter Rodney didn't die for being radical. He died for being right. And what he said back then still applies today. If you're not asking why things are the way they are, someone else is counting on your silence. So if you've ever felt that gut instinct that something's just off, sit with it, pass it on. Because once you understand how we were underdeveloped, you stop blaming the people and start blaming the system. Say his name, Walter Rodney.
Ancestor Dr. Walter Rodney. All right, I got one more clip on that. Let me stop this share real quick. And I got one more clip on our brother. I'll come to that. And we can come to the Ethereal journalist for any commentary. Let me pop up this next clip for our brother, ancestor, Dr. Walter Rodney. All right, and you can hear some excerpt from him in his own words. All right, let me share my screen on that note. Okay, here it is. All right, let's jump into it.
I have met brothers and sisters who say that their mother tongue, quote unquote, is French, Spanish, Dutch, Portuguese, as well as English, which we speak. And because of this, we have a problem of identification. We do not know whom we are. And that is why this gathering is of great symbolic importance, because it is an act of identification. We are saying that we identify with the African people of the African continent. We are saying that we are an African people. When we make this identification, have no illusions about the fact that this is a very revolutionary initiative. It is a rejection of every other form of identification which the white society has asked us to accept. I have met brothers and sisters who say that their mother tongue, quote unquote, is French, Spanish, Dutch, Portuguese, as well as English, which we speak. And because of this, we have a problem of identification. We do not know whom we are. And that is why this gathering is of great symbolic importance, because it is an act of identification. We are saying that we identify with the African people of the African continent. We are saying that we are an African people. And when we make this identification, have no illusions about the fact that this is a very revolutionary initiative. It is a rejection of every other form of identification which the white society has asked us to accept. I have met.
All right. Let me stop my screen share there. Okay. Let me come to the Ethereal journalist for any additions on our brother, Dr. Walter Rodney. Brother Paulin, do you want to start us off?
Oh no, I just was I pretty much concur with everything Sister Ashley Barron was pretty much saying about him, as well as his own words. It's self-explanatory in my eyes. Both of the clips sort of match up with everything. So I'm going to let that frequency continue on, because Sister Barron is on that frequency. So and of course he was definitely on that same higher frequency. So I'm not going to add anything else to that. I yield.
All right, yes, sir. Okay, with that being said, let me come over to Sister Empress. I think it's a little different the problem. Looks like we lost Sister Empress. Hopefully she'll be beaming back on board shortly.
You blasted it right out when you opened your mouth and called it. That's the power of the mouth vibration and maximum impact collision.
Indeed.
On the MIC. She'll be back.
Yes, indeed. Okay, I think she's coming back on board now. Right.
Brother Lumba? Okay, yeah. I'm back. Okay, so I just wanted to say that, wow, hearing Dr. Walter Rodney is just a reminder. There's a lot of misinformation that's being circulated about Pan-Africanism.
Facts.
And so, I think at some point in the very near future, we need to have a more in-depth conversation about that, because I don't believe people really know the full scope or have as much information as they really need to have. I was talking with one of my sisters the other day, or communicating with one of my sisters the other day, and making it very clear that all Pan-Africanists do not necessarily prescribe to the very same things.
Right.
From an ideological standpoint. The common thing is that we must unite.
Right.
That's across the board. But for some of the other more specific things, that could vary. But in hearing Dr. Walter Rodney, it reminds me, and should remind any of us that's really focusing on a more global perspective in terms of us as a people, that there was a certain type of interaction and agreement, both intellectually as well as spiritually, in terms of how we were going to proceed in fighting our enemy. See, and so some of the meetings and some of the interactions that occurred during the 1960s through the 70s, when you had people like Kwame Nkrumah, essentially for Kwame Nkrumah, Secretary and others, some of those sessions or some of those interactions was to develop the capability to fight the enemy all across the board, globally, diasporically speaking. It wasn't just about building up Africa per se. So that's really there's a lot of misinformation that's being put out there. And it's not to say that there are not some groups or entities that might be trying to, put more energy into Africa than they are in other locations. Of course they are. But to try to lump everybody into the same basket as if that's the only kind of focus there is, that's incorrect, it's inappropriate, and it's just outright wrong. And so when you hear someone such as Dr. Walter Rodney, clearly he was not just talking about Guyana or one location. He was talking about us as a people, and the struggle was about for us as a people globally. But needless to say, people had to do various things in their particular terrain, in their particular location, in order to try to build. And then, of course, that could be extended to other locations. So this is a conversation that we will definitely need to have in the very near future in a more holistic manner.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes, indeed. Yeah, yep. So and that's why it's so. I believe it's so important for us to be able to dig back into history, right, into the archives, so we can get a more truer perspective on the origination of some of these ideas, theologies, so on and so forth. Because as time progresses, they get skewed, they get transmuted, mutated, and things of this nature, based on, in a lot of cases, people's personal agendas. Okay, but we have to make sure that we have clear distinctions in between what that thing is and what someone's interpretation of that thing is. All right, and make those clear distinctions and demarcations. All right. So yeah, definitely we'll be digging into that conversation in the near future, family. What is presently known or referred to as what I refer to as the identity crisis, aka the diaspora wars. All right. All right. So with that being said, let's jump into our next clip. Okay. All right. Let me pull up the next clip and get ready to share. So now, family, we're going to dig into this being the continuation of this entire month is Black Music Month. So we are continuing to celebrate Black music. And tonight we want to highlight some additional contributors. All right. And we're looking at it from the feminine perspective. All right. A lot of the times, again, you hear about a lot of the contributions of our great men, which is, amicable, which is admirable. All right. But also, we want to make sure that we don't lose track and that we don't lose the history of our great women. Okay. That help to be the orchestrators, the inventors, the innovators of Black music. All right. So with that being said, we're going to go to overlooked Black women pioneers of early rock and blues music. Okay. So first and foremost, we're going to start off with our sister Memphis Minnie. Okay. Known as Memphis Minnie, whose names we want to shout out and lift up and honor our ancestor, Sister Lizzie Douglas. All right, so let me pull that up and let me share my screen here. All right, let me share my screen and let's learn some more about Miss Memphis Minnie.
He was one of the most powerful and influential blues musicians. Memphis Minnie was one of the most powerful and influential blues musicians of the 20th century and one of the greatest guitarists of her time. Born Lizzie Douglas in 1897 in Louisiana, she grew up in Mississippi and ran away from home as a teenager to pursue music. She earned the nickname Memphis Minnie while performing on Beale Street in Memphis, Tennessee, where she quickly built a reputation for her fierce guitar skills and commanding stage presence. In the 1920s and 1930s, Minnie became one of the first female blues artists to record extensively. She recorded more than 200 songs, many of them featuring her sharp, confident vocals and intricate driving guitar work. At a time when the blues world was dominated by men, she stood toe-to-toe with anyone and often outplayed them. In 1929, she recorded When the Levee Breaks with Kansas Joe McCoy. Decades later, that song was reworked and made famous by the rock band Led Zeppelin, introducing her legacy to a new generation. Memphis Minnie was not just a performer, she was a songwriter, a businesswoman, and a trailblazer. Her music addressed love, independence, hardship, and survival. She even wrote bold, self-assured songs celebrating her own talent, something rare for women in that era. She transitioned from acoustic country blues to electric blues in the 1940s, proving she could evolve with the changing sound of the times. Though she died in 1973, her influence lives on. In 1980, she was inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame. Memphis Minnie was not just a blues singer, She was a guitar legend who helped shape American music. Memphis Minnie was one of the most powerful and influential blues musicians of the 20th century, and one of the greatest.
All right. Let me stop my screen share there. As we dig into more history of Black music. All right, let me come to the Ethereal journalist on this. What are your thoughts on Memphis Minnie?
I think that I hit it real quick. That song was a prophecy.
How about that?
When the levees break.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he did it in 1929, and then Led Zeppelin came and popularized it when they did the re-rendition of it all. But then that actual prophecy came to pass when we saw what happened in Katrina.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the year when Katrina happened no more. It seems like it's been that long, but it's only been, what, 15, maybe 20 years at that?
Yeah.
What year did Katrina happen? I can't even think of it right now, but when the levees break. That's the first thing I thought of when that song came up. Wow, she was a prophet, a prophetess, or whatever you want to call it, a prognosticator. I yield.
Yes, sir. Indeed. Thank you for that addition, Brother Pollinator. And yeah, I actually thought about that instantly as well when I heard the song. So I was like, wow. Imagine that. Okay. Let me come over to Sister Empress for any additions.
Yeah, I'm going to do some further research because I'm really not familiar with this sister, but I got a feeling that she might have been inspirational to someone like Billie Holiday, because Billie Holiday had a very unique sound, and it was kind of a combination of blues and jazz and, so forth. So I'm going to, see if there was any kind of connection there. But I mentioned also Billie Holiday for a reason, and it is because not only was she born in Philadelphia, because I always got to hail up sisters coming out of Philly, but also, and most people don't know that she was actually born in Philly. But I also want to make sure that people are very clear that this being Black Music Month, that Billie Holiday was one of the first that we know we have documented that was targeted by this government. How about that? And particularly because of the song Strange Fruit.
Yeah.
Okay. And so there's documents that literally says that they went after her. The U.S. government went after her. And I mean, the story gets real deep. I'll save it for another time because we'll be doing an anniversary for her next month. Is her ancestral day for next month. I think it's July 17th. But we just want to let people know that our people have been under attack. Not just from COINTELPRO that we really saw the actual documents, but, and of course we know it goes far back to the Honorable Marcus Garvey. But again, this being Black Music Month, I want to make sure that people know that there is documentation that literally showed how the U.S. government targeted Billie Holiday.
Yeah, because they didn't want her to expose that corrupt and horrible history of lynching in the South, and that's what that song was doing. In which everything that they've done that's evil and negative, they try to erase it from out the history books. Let's be real. All of the Black Wall Streets that were all around the country, they tried to erase that out the history book because they don't want to pay for the evil that they did just within the last 100 years. Yet the 400 years, I yield.
Absolutely. But keeping in mind, they told her to stop performing that song. Mm-hmm. The documents show that she was warned to stop doing that song.
Yeah.
And then because she would not, that's when a whole lot of other stuff began to manifest.
All of a sudden she died from what, a drug overdose? Yeah.
Uh-huh. And even when you start digging into some of the history of that, it's very, very interesting. It's very obvious that she was targeted and set up.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, come on, they'll use anything, whatever. Biological weapons. Back then, it was drugs that they could say somebody was unalive from. I mean, it's just sickening how many things that even when you look at somebody as great as Bob Marley, come on, cancer in the toe, come on, you know. But it's strange fruit, you know. It's real strange fruit that they coming up with.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yeah, thank you for that. Those additions, Brother Pollinator and Sister Empress. We definitely going to touch base. That's actually one of my favorite female artists of all time.
Billie Holiday.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we definitely going to be digging into that story a little bit on our next episodes. We're going to be touching base on that a little bit as well. All right. So, we got some things coming in the works, family, as well. Interestingly enough, I got a design that's going to be premiering shortly of Billie Holiday as well with some of our
Thank
merch.
you, Sister J. Renee, for the happy 1 year anniversary too. Thank you, sister.
I say, indeed, give thanks. All right. All right, family, let's keep this rocket pushing. All right, we're going to go to our next contestant on
You still
Black.
doing black music?
Oh yeah, Black music history. All right, we're going to
Yeah.
dig in further with the overlooked Black women pioneers of early rock and blues. All right, jump into ancestor Big Mama Thornton. Oh yeah, family.
Big Mama Thornton.
Listen, whenever you got a name and it start off Big Mama, you already know what time it is.
She a bad mama jamma.
Hey, that's she don't mess around. I tell you what. I tell you one thing. Let me go ahead and share my screen and let's jump into this expose, this short brief of the history of Big Mama Thornton. Also, her name, now ancestor Willie Mae Thornton, also known as Big Mama Thornton. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen on this. Let's jump into it.
In the small town of Ayrton, Alabama. In 1926, in the small town of Ayrton, Alabama, Willie Mae Big Mama Thornton was born into a family of ministers. Like many Black artists of her era, she learned to sing in the church before taking her powerhouse voice on the road at just 14 years old. In 1953, she would record a song that would change music history. Hound Dog. Her raw, commanding vocals and fierce delivery helped the single sell 2 million copies and top the R&B charts. Despite this massive success, Thornton received only $500 in payment. A stark reminder of how the music industry often exploited Black artists. 3 years later, Elvis Presley would cover her version, launching his career into the stratosphere. It was Big Mama's original interpretation, full of grit, swagger, and blues authenticity, that helped lay the foundation for rock and roll itself. Her influence can be heard in everyone from Janis Joplin to Jack White, proving that while Elvis may have been crowned the king, Big Mama Thornton was one of rock's true pioneers. In 1926, in the small town of Ayrton, Alabama.
All right. Let me stop my screen share there. All right. Triple salutes to our ancestor, Big Mama Thornton. Let me come to Ethereal journalist for any weigh-ins on this history.
Sister Chi, I'll let you go first.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, again, I think it's really important that we continue to highlight the pioneers, the significance of, who started what when. I think it's very, very important. And it's also important to connect the Black dots in this manner, that to know and understand the blues, you have to also kind of, or shall we say rock and roll, you have to also kind of know and understand the blues, which nobody can claim that but us, period. And also gospel, right? And so this was the combination. This was the connection. This was how this music evolved. The blues came out of that pain, out of that enslavement, out of that injustice. And of course, connecting that to some of the gospel music. And remember, gospel music wasn't always called gospel music. It was called spirituals.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the inception came from old Negro spirituals before their indoctrination.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So as we look at how our music evolved, it is very important to know the essences of some of this. And there's no way that pale people can ever claim or say that they have any direct connection to either spirituals, gospel, and or the blues, you see. And so they begin to grab hold to it when it became rock and roll. So know some of this history, know and understand and comprehend some of the roots of it first. I yield.
Indeed.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sister Chi. I think Memphis Minnie. Yep, give her definitely applause on that one. I think Memphis Minnie and Big Mama Thornton. You look at the time frame, the 1920s, 1929, from their last clip. You talking about that was during the time the Harlem Renaissance was popping off as well up in the north part of the country, up in the the northeast part of the country. And I think when you look at what Ancestor Dale Jones was talking about concerning culture bandits, that's what they were doing back there. They were looking at this woman sold 2 million. What? Oh, let's flip it around, put another face on top of that bad boy, and just straight up gank them and take that sound and make millions of dollars off of that sound. Same story being told today. Same people behind the scenes exploiting our artists, taking their royalties, not giving them access to own their own masters or the creative works and their intellectual property from their music songs that they've created through their hard-earned, like you said, Sister Chi, pain, trauma. The blues came from actual experiences that people were just trying to put out their own wax at the time. Same thing is going on today. A lot of people are putting their music out digitally as it is now because of the pain and suffering and the trauma that they've experienced, and they're trying to find a way to express it. And it is through music that we, as the original muses of the planet, have always expressed our pain, our trauma, all of the things that hurt us, but we try to transmute it into something that's going to be positive. And it's through music that we do that transmutation, and we alchemize our pain and our trauma and everything else. So anything negative or positive is going to be an outcome. We choose to make the outcome into a good outcome by alchemizing it into our musical selves, our muses, because music is sacred to us. Music has always been sacred. It's been something within our DNA, our DEA, our genetics. It's not nothing that is something that you could take from somebody else's culture or nation and try to incorporate it or copy it and then become that which is not originally yours, like they have done. See, everything that comes from us is not copied. It's straight from the inside, our soul. That's why they call us, soul music, because it's coming from our soul, our will, our intellect, our emotions, and our actions that we take. Once we put all those things together and alchemize it and then bring it out there as part of our story. So that's what we are as muses, as the muses of the world. Music is sacred to us. It ain't something that we just gonna take it and exploit it. Because I could do music for free. I mean, that's how I look at it. If it's gonna be something that's gonna inspire somebody else and make somebody else grow or evolve because of a word planted in their spirit that makes them grow that seed and end up cultivating that seed that will benefit that individual soul, I'm cool with that. I don't necessarily have to say I got to make millions of dollars off of a record. If one soul has been inspired by what you put out there as a seed to them, you've done your universal work. You've done your seed planting. You pollinated, and somebody's going to grow from that. And that person might grow up to be a Michael Jackson, a Prince, because of one word planted into that person's spirit through a musical element, because music is an element for us. It's one of the greatest elements of the universe. I yield.
All right, family, we're going to keep this ride rolling. And we got two more. We got two more, family. All right, so we just came from Big Mama Thornton. All right, hailing up our ancestor, Queen Willie Mae Thornton. Okay, now we're going to transition to another pioneer woman known as the Mother of Blues. All right, let me bring it up. Let me share my screen, and we're going to learn about Ma Rainey. And if you didn't know, you're going to learn today. All right, let's let it roll.
All right.
The Mother of the Blues is Ma Rainey. Do you know who the Mother of the Blues is? Ma Rainey was a Black recording artist in the 20s and 30s, and her impact was immense. Between 1923 and 1928, she recorded over 100 songs, all of them being of her own composition. Long before other Black folks had the chance to reach a microphone, she was bringing her talent to thousands through her music. While her music has been stolen by many white artists, the original recordings of her songs, like the Black Eye Blues, the Runaway Blues, Prove It On Me Blues, are enduring. While many had forgotten Ma Rainey by the turn of the century, the August Wilson play, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, the great story that tells her legacy as well as other Black artists, and the movie adaptation is a classic. Do you know who the Mother of the Blues is?
All right, let me stop my screen share there. All right, let me come back to the Ethereal Journalist. Okay, I got probably two more to drop on y'all, so I'm keeping it coming. All right, so now we're talking about Ma Rainey.
Hey, I'm cool. Let's keep up rolling down the river, like Tina Turner once said. I'm good.
Yep, me too. I just want to add that at least for two of these, maybe three of the sisters that we talked about tonight, just a sidebar, they was also known as being able to punch you out.
Yeah, these women was dope.
So they give you a 2-piece and a biscuit in a minute, huh?
Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
You got to think, during this time period, you kind of had to, had some gumption about you. We talking about jazz clubs. Back in the day. So, it's bootlegging, this, that, and the third going on.
Right?
Yeah, and plus, jazz clubs, and back in the day, that stuff was going on, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So, yeah, you had to be about your business. Absolutely. And on top of that, you had the crooks and everything trying to take advantage, trying to swindle and things of that nature. So everybody, folks is in that scope of things, they had to be on point. All right, with that being said, we're going to move forward, and we're going to jump into our next feature. All right, so let me share my screen on that. And this ancestor of ours is known as Empress of the Blues. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen.
Blues, we feel you still. I'm the river to the block, yeah, we know that will turn sorrow to a song. Every tear you spin, Bessie Smith in my blood, let the story begin. Empress of the blues, crown never fades. Echo in the alley in the church parade. You walk, so we run on these modern days. We salute when we rap your name. Bessie.
Click on the link to watch and listen to more.
Let that rock one more time.
To the blues, we feel you still. From the river to the block, yeah, we know that will turn sorrow to a song. Every tear you spin, Bessie Smith in my blood, let the story begin. Empress of the blues, crown never fades. Echo in the alley in the church parade. You walk, so we run on these modern days. We salute when we rap your name, Bessie.
All right. That's ancestor Bessie Smith, Empress of the Blues. All right, with that being said, let me come to my follow-up video on that. Okay. And it's just a brief history of our sister. Let me bring that up. Let me share my screen. All right. Just want to give a little bit more information. All right. Let me share my screen on that note. All right, let's learn a little bit more about our sister, our great ancestor, Bessie Smith, Empress of the Blues.
My man's got a heart like a rocket in the sea.
Bessie Smith is the greatest female blues singer who's ever lived.
Born in Chattanooga, Tennessee in 1894, Bessie Smith hit the theater circuit at the age of 18, touring in minstrel shows and cabarets. She started her career as a dancer on the same bill with legendary singer Ma Rainey.
Ma Rainey was always known as the ugliest woman in show business, and Bessie was not. Bessie was known as being beautiful.
Bessie segued from dancing to singing, and her talents drew large audiences. So she created her own show.
Bessie Smith's shows were often extravagant. She had as many as 40 people in the cast.
Bessie's show traveled the country, and in many areas of America, segregation was the norm.
In some places, there were black rooming houses, theatrical rooming houses, where they stayed. So when Bessie Smith had her own railroad car, that became their home away from home, and they cooked there and they slept there.
Bessie's success was enormous for the time, and she was pulling in the unheard of sum of $2,000 a week.
Just the whole idea that Bessie Smith and Ma Rainey were able to make a living at that time. These women were writing their stories, singing them, and making their own money, and they were emancipated women to me. They were the first feminists.
Bessie understood the hard-drinking, promiscuous, and violent life she sang about in the blues because she lived it.
At the end of the songs, you always got this sense that despite all this, that this was a woman who was going to overcome it. And she did.
By the early 1920s, Columbia Records discovered her, and she became the best-selling blues artist of her time, making almost 160 recordings, including tunes like Backwater Blues and Tain't Nobody's Business If I Do.
She had a good business mind. She would sell the records in the aisle. She also sold other merchandise. The Bessie Smith show was a traveling marketplace.
When I discovered Bessie Smith, I was like, oh, that's where Janis got her stuff. That's where Mick Jagger, Robert Plant, everybody's been listening to Bessie Smith.
I do see that evening sun go down.
Smith's rich life was cut short by a car crash at the age of 43. Thousands turned out to mourn her, but she lay in an anonymous plot until rock legend and fan Janis Joplin bought her a headstone several decades later.
She had a swagger. She had a incredible booming voice.
Rock and roll is rhythm and blues, and it came from the blues of Bessie Smith.
Oh, my baby, he's done left his
All right. Let me stop my screen share there. And let me come back to the Ethereal journalist on this one.
Yeah, again, and just another great, and it is just so wonderful to hear about these women, about these sisters. It was groundbreaking. And by the way, the history about her is, again, she was no joke in terms of defending herself.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, none of these women, they was no joke and they played no games. Okay, it was about.
They truly had the queen mentality. Off with your head if you come my direction with that foolishness.
Mhm.
Off with your
Absolutely.
head. That's the boss mentality you got to have out here when you're trying to break through something that at the time when them beautiful ancestor sisters were trying to break through in the industry and get their just due, as well as artists that were creative that everybody respected. I think at the end of the day, you look at the people that were talking about her in this video clip. Who were they mostly? They were mostly of other nations, right? The Caucasian nation, right?
Sure.
Okay. See, they respect her, and they knew they had to take some things from her in order for them to even be successful, and they admitted in there. you know. But we as our own nation of people disrespect each other so much with our music now, especially with all this kill drill crap and all this old, East Coast, West Coast stuff that happened in the 90s with Pac and Biggie and everybody. We've taken our music and we've aimed it against ourselves while they take our music and they make billions of dollars and become legendary off of the people that they actually, say are their inspiration, you know? So just looking at the people that were talking in this video, they were all respectful of what Bessie Smith did. And I think even, when they did the movie with her, who played her? Wasn't it Cleo played her in the movie about Bessie Smith?
I don't remember.
Cleo played
Sure,
Queen
yeah.
Latifah. Queen Latifah.
Oh,
Yeah, I called
yeah,
her Cleo. I'm thinking about her name from
okay,
Set
yeah,
It Off.
Queen Latifah. Yep,
Yeah.
she did. I remember.
Yeah, I'm thinking about her name that she was when she was on Set It Off, Queen Latifah, Cleo. But she played a great part. She played that woman's part real well. And I don't know if she got nominated. Something would happen. But that woman was legendary, Bessie Smith. And like you said, she did not play no games. And that's what we got to go back to in our music. We can't continue to play these games because while we playing games, they making millions behind the scenes while we on that bread, wine, and circus nonsense out front. Dancing and singing like who was it that said that? Even Suge Knight said, "You come on over here to Death Row because the CEO won't be on stage dancing and singing and acting a fool like he was talking about Puff Daddy." Yeah, get behind the scene and make your coins, make your money, and be respected because the people that run this industry, they're wolves, they're vultures, and if they could pick your bones and let you eat off of them while you still walking the face of this planet, then you ain't nothing but dead meat, a dead man walking, which is what a lot of artists end up becoming. So just have respect for yourself, number one. Self-respect is big time when it comes to this music industry thing. I yield. And those sisters had that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right, all right. Thank you for that addition, brother Pollinator. Okay, all right, family. And so that's going to close out this segment as we finish talking about some of the lesser known pioneers, inventors, and innovators of Black music, specifically rock and the blues. All right, rock and roll and the blues. All right, so again, we talked about great ancestors, Memphis Minnie, hailing up Lizzie Douglas, ancestor Lizzie Douglas. All right, hailing up ancestor Willie Mae Thornton, also known as Big Mama Thornton, or raising up our ancestor Ma Rainey, all right, known as the mother of the blues, and also hailing up our sister Bessie Smith. Okay,
Hmm.
as the Empress of the Blues. All right,
Shout out to Sister Mary Mozon, who said she was loving this segment of the great women, the great women ancestor, the legendary great women ancestors of our music genre called the rhythm and blues and all the other great stuff that we just presented. So we just thank you for that big ups, Sister Mary Mozon.
absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for that addition. All right. So we're going to keep it flowing on. So we're going to get into more of the current or more recent iterations. Now, I was talking about previously the invention, the innovation, and the acceleration of pop music. All right. So right now we're going to take a glimpse, take a look at uh, another one of our ancestors who was targeted based on his influence, and let's take a look at the power and prestige of the king of pop, none other than our brother ancestor Michael Jackson. Let's take a look. All right, let me stop my screen share there. Okay. Now, as you saw, the immense reach, the power, the prestige, and the capabilities of the late great Michael Jackson. All right, and the caption above that title said, "No wonder why they had to get rid of him."
No wonder why they got him gone. Like I said, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so just wanted to shout out and triple salute to the ancestor Michael Jackson, the king of pop.
He
All
wasn't the
right.
king of pop. He was the god of pop because he operated in the God frequency 963. You know, he knew. They said sometimes when he was in concerts, he could just push his hand out and the whole front row would fall back, pass out.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And there's footage of those actual things in some of his concerts.
Yeah, I might see if I can pull it up. He was also known like he was so phenomenal. His presence was so awesome that he would just stand still on stage for like 3 to 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
and people would just faint. They would literally fall out. He wasn't saying anything. He wasn't doing anything. He would just stand stagnant,
Mm-hmm.
stand static on stage at the front of the stage in a pose for 3 to 5 minutes, and folks would absolutely lose their minds.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so that's the type of energy, that's the type of spirit that he was imbued with, and that he was able to share with the world.
Yeah, his auric field, his auric field was very powerful, and that's on an ethereal frequency vibrational level. As we know, everything is energy, frequency, and vibration in this matrix, and his energy frequency was so high. Like I said, it was not on the king status; it was on the 963, the God frequency status. That's why his auric field would just push anybody near it into passing out. See, that's why I knew he was different than a lot of the artists, because let's be real, he deserved all the acclaim and the fame that he had because he was a great creative artist and he was a great singer as well. So he had the whole universal muse package. You know, he was sent from the heavens above to come down here and bring forth the God frequency of music to be an influence, number one, and to change the world. We are the world. We are the people. I yield.
You know, on another note, because of his creativity, right? Particularly we sort of course and heard it in his music, but then when the videos started coming out, I mean, he started doing things with video. In fact, that from what I remember reading and hearing, that it was his videos that really helped to make MTV.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. It was his videos that really launched MTV to the status that it reached.
I concur.
That's right. And so again, you know, he was doing stuff with you know, visual stuff that just wasn't happening. Just a quick sidebar: 2 incredible pieces of art that he produced, that he did, was of course Remember the Time.
Mm-hmm. He went back to Egypt on that one, didn't he?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. And if you look at the choreograph for that, was unbelievable.
Magical, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the
He
whole
started making mini movies. That's what he was literally doing.
That's right. Mini movie. Yep. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
He went on his dark side on that one.
Yep. But
it was integrated. But go ahead. I'm sorry. What was the second one, Sister Chi?
The other one, of course, was They Don't Really Care About Us.
Oh my gosh.
And I will rest on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, he was definitely the thriller too. You know, he say, "Hey, I got a dark side too." See, that's one thing he understood. He understood how to integrate his light side and his dark side, because he understood the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So when people start being able to show both sides, meaning I love peace, but I love war just as equally and equitably as I love peace. He knew how to bring that side out when he needed to go up against Sony to get them doggone masters and take over the whole daggone, you know, all of his creative art form and his material and content. He had to go to war, and he would talk about Tommy Mottola and all them people that were trying to gank him and continue to exploit him back then. But he went to war with him because he had built a war chest, a money war chest, to say, you know what, I sold 25 million records just on Thriller alone. I can own all of the music industry if I wanted to. He made boss moves. That's why they said, like I said at that caption, they had to get him gone. I yield.
Absolutely. So yes, our brother MJ, he was phenomenal on so many different levels, right? Just innovator with his style, with his techniques, with his dance, with his stage performance, with his vocals, with his visualizations and his videos, with his choreography. Then when he started moving more to in the fashion of like film, he was turning videos into short movies. and the quality was like going to a cinema. I remember when he dropped
Smooth,
that
smooth
tape,
criminal.
Smooth Criminal. When he dropped that, I
Right.
mean, this stuff was groundbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
Whole cassette. This is I'm get my age a little bit on this one. This is VHS cassette. Okay, and maybe it was like an hour and 30 minutes, something like that. But he was able to string the videos together to create like a cinematic movie. And he, added in, it was like claymation, and he turned into a giant robot in one scene. It was it was crazy. It was crazy. It was unbelievable. And I'm watching this at the time. I'm just like, wow, I've never seen anything like this before in my life. It was absolutely incredible. So he had a video game, also by the same name, Smooth Criminal. And like I said, with the with the movie like qualities of his videos, he took it to the future with Scream,
Yeah.
with Janet Jackson. That was groundbreaking. The visual effects, the CGI, and everything that was utilized in that. That was next level. So he kept on pushing the boundaries, kept innovating, kept creating. And which is why to this day he is the king. Or as his brother Pollinator put it, the god of pop music, right? And then not and that's just on that element. Now, if you look at his business acumen, as Brother Pop was mentioned, breaking barriers across the world on that, owning the rights and publishing of some of these major bands and their entire archive, right? Like the Beatles own the Beatles music, and this is some of the power moves that he was able to make that really got him in the crosshairs, and they really had to take him out. So he was just too powerful on too many levels, and so that's why he was attacked, and that's the reason why he got that onslaught until his unfortunate demise.
It's funny. I can remember the time in which the biggest thing that was going on before he actually took over all of his information, or all of his masters and everything, and bought everything out. He made a deal with them colonizers, the music colonizers, to get $2.50 from every CD or record sold. And back then records might have been $10, maybe $12, sometime play. So to get $2.50 off of every CD, that right there was groundbreaking. And then his sister came back behind him and got a similar deal, maybe just a little bit less. But she benefited off of his anointing, of his power that he negotiated with them to say, yo, for every CD sold, I need at least a quarter to 33% on every CD sold. So he was powerful. He was powerful.
Absolutely, groundbreaking. All right, family. So with that being said, let me move on to we're gonna move on to our next segment. Actually, all right, that covers just a snapshot, just a glimpse, a drop in the bucket as it pertains to the tremendous contributions of as it pertains to celebrating this year's Black Music Month. And these innovations and iterations did not just impact Black people and Black music. These genres, this creativity impacted the entire world and still does to this day. All right, so
we ain't doing nothing on Prince tonight, are we?
I ain't got the Prince up tonight. We gonna follow up on that for our next episode.
Okay,
we're gonna jump on Billie Holiday.
Yeah.
We got to touch base on Prince. You're gonna touch base on Nina Simone. A couple other ones I'm gonna put together. But I want to dig in the crates a little bit on this one.
Get the foundation. Get the foundation out.
Yes.
The blueprints, because they were the blueprints.
And I just had to hail up, and once I seen that video on MJ, I said I gotta put this into play.
Yeah, I like that. That was beautiful.
Yes. All right, because I was gonna keep it, to the traditional and the like you said, foundational. But once I saw that MJ, I said this is like the icing on the cake. I gotta pop this on there. and put that cherry on top.
No, he was an Earth angel or an Earth messenger, man. He was like I said. I mean, he had even your boy that played on Will Smith, John, wearing his shirt and doing all. He was sort of like mimicking him. What's his name? Alfonso Ribeiro.
Mm.
You remember him? That the guy who played with Will Smith on Fresh Prince of Bel Air, the
Yeah, he
little
played
rich.
Carlton. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Carlton.
okay. Yeah, you talking about the
Yeah.
Little Richie episode though? Yeah.
But you remember he had a commercial out where he had on the red jacket with all of the stuff, and he was doing all the moves. That's really how he got popularized when he mimicked Michael Jackson's moves, and he came and became a actual star because of Michael Jackson projecting onto his his mind and his soul, So he was an influential person. Period, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And how they took him out, that was some evil shit.
Yeah.
Evil shit.
And that kind of go into like a breakdown of how they're able to attack and eliminate, for the most part, black men, right? Because you saw this same type of play, the same type of strategy all across the globe. If they can't, if they're not able to, attack you directly, they first attack you indirectly by, if they can't assassinate you immediately, they assassinate your character.
Mm-hmm.
Then when they villainize you, to the masses of people, and then your status drops down and you no longer, have certain aspects of protections due to that, then they're able to come in and infiltrate and knock you the rest of the way down. So we have to be mindful and pay attention to these signs and these plays that happens throughout history, and how they're able to single out, isolate, and target individuals, on a moral, ethical level, assassinate their character, and then they come in for the kill, either, able to jail them or literally eliminate them, through assassinations.
Yeah, because if you look at in the case of Michael Jackson, see, he didn't bend over on that Hollywood director's couch. They didn't have nothing on him. See, but they fabricated it and manufactured it with all that Jesus juice stuff and, boys sleeping in the bed with him. They were able to present a public persona of him that was totally just him being a child and wanting to be around younger children and creating a world such as with his zoo that he had on Neverland Ranch. Because that's what he was. He was like Peter Pan. He was a young child in that avatar. He was a child his whole life, even when, before he passed away. So they had to find a way, because they did not have something that they could just say, oh, look at this scandalous picture, or look at this scandalous video. They didn't have nothing on him because he knew what they were going to try to do. So he stayed away from, compromising himself and doing the things that most of the people behind the scenes do, which is all that pedophilia shit that you hear coming out in the news right now, all that Epstein files stuff, and exploiting our young children and pedophiling them, no different than the Catholic priest did before all that exposure came out, and they lost billions of dollars because of people's faiths being eroded behind those people doing that to their children. The people coming out 30, 40 years later saying that Monsignor so-and-so, did me in on the altar and all that other nonsense. See, Michael didn't get himself caught up in it, so they had to fabricate that shit. But anyways, I yield.
Indeed. Thank you for that addition and update information, Brother Pollinator. All right. Anything to add on that, Sister Empress, before I move on to the next?
Nope. Keep moving.
All right. So we're going to jump into some current events now, family, as we keep this rocket blasting off. Okay. So let me jump into this next story. We're going to jump into our next segment, and we're going to keep things rolling. All right. Let me share my screen here. All right. Now, I'm not sure if folks caught wind of this incident and upcoming case. Let me let it rock. Okay, let me read the captions on this. I'll bring it back as well. A black trucker driver to sue after North Carolina cop assaults him in courthouse. Attempts to enter. There are some words with the officer at the door. I'm assuming sheriff. Okay, sprays it with mace and then attacks him. And so the brother's not going for that. He giving them hands up. Okay, he defended himself. Other officers intervened. All right, let me stop my screen share there. All right, now some updates on this case. So the brother is suing, I believe, for $2.5 million. Okay, and there is significant damage reportedly to his eyesight. It was reported that the deputy sprayed so much mace that they had to evacuate the courtroom. And the brother was maced so badly that he is now looking at being partially blind. Okay. And, this is affecting his livelihood because he is a truck driver. All right. So we're going to continue to follow this case as it progresses and continue to give you updates as things begin to open up more. All right, as we learn more. All right, family. But this is just again like another snapshot of the two Americas that MLK talked about. All right, and the two aspects of the quote unquote justice system. All right, and the bias and the inherent racism that is undergirding with these this type of jurisdiction. Okay, so we're just looking at another example, family, of the injustice system that is showing itself, that is revealing itself, that is now being unveiled. Okay, so now these things are coming to light. Before, incidents like this would occur, but there'd be no evidence of it. All right, now there's so much recording that's going on, that's taking place. It's hard to get away with anything. So this is just these are not new incidences. These are things that have been occurring for the past 400 plus years. But now we have actual evidence of it, and we're able to show these things in order to get remedied and justice and other aspects of reparations, reparatory justice. Okay, so let me come to the Ethereal journalist on this one and see if there's any additions.
No, not really for me. I mean, this past week, the past couple of weeks have shown, some things that when it comes to injustice with the brother Anthony, and then of course with the decision that was made with the Asian person. So seeing this again just demonstrates, it adds on to already kind of feeling that I've been having for the past week or two. This just adds on to it further. And again, demonstrates and not just demonstrates, but it shows why we must proceed in a way that has us not so much involved in the system where they can do whatever they want to do to us. And so, as we move forward with the We Charge Genocide 21 initiative, R4J, the protracted objective is to have our own terrain, our own venue, the capability to provide services for ourselves, independent institutions, and so forth. At this stage of the game, we've got to know we cannot continue to function in this system in the same manner. I'm not suggesting that we leave here, by no means, because our ancestors' blood, sweat, and tears in this land. But we have to look at how we are going to have a segment of whatever that is ours. And that has to be an objective at this stage of the game.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that addition, Sister Empress. Let me come to Brother Pollinator for any additions on this upcoming case or this recent case.
I mean, it's just like the case of the young lady down in Shelby, North Carolina, that we did a couple of weeks ago, getting beat up by that cop and the other black cop sitting by there looking at this foolishness. It's just the same old freaking rerun. It's like I'm watching some reruns from the 1930s or 40s or some shit, and it's all being visualized now because we have cameras and we can film things. But can you imagine all of the stories that we don't see that have been done this way? So every now and then when you see a Rodney King incident or a George Floyd incident, that's one out of probably 1,000 or 2 that has happened that we did not catch. And because that thing was in a courtroom and had to clear the courtroom out, they have to say something about it. But I guarantee you, if it didn't do what it did, that brother wouldn't have got no justice out of that. But now he does get it because of the visuals, because of the optics that were presented, the same narrative. If they could hide it, though, if they could squash it, they'll do it. But this is the year of revelation. Things are coming out. All evil and wicked stuff that these people have done, and even the things that we do to ourselves with the sellouts and the gatekeepers, all this stuff is being revealed. And I don't know if you noticed or not, but if you go on social media sites, a lot of people are putting stuff in there about their people dropping dead like flies. Okay? And I'm talking about black people. Every time I turn around and I might go through and I surf, get ready to go on, and I look at, always somebody got an obituary up. Somebody in their 30s and 40s and some of them 50s and 60s are dropping dead like flies. Hello, wake up. The purge is happening. Getting y'all parasitical entities up out of here. I yield.
Indeed. All right, thank you for that addition, Brother Colin. Okay. All right, we're going to keep the ball rolling. Now let's get into some updates on what's going on with this boycott. All right, how has things progressed? All right, and this, let me see, from African Diaspora News. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen here. Okay.
Beautiful Black women, how y'all doing? Well, I hope you're doing fine. But listen, we need y'all to stand on business. When I say y'all, I mean me too. We need to stand on business because I see a lot of people calling out Black women saying, hey, Black women, y'all go up into those Asian nail salons and beauty supplies and all that the most, right? So we need y'all to stay out of there because unfortunately, we are still seeing some videos of y'all sitting down, getting your nice little toes done and your fingernails and all the other things. And listen, if you are the mother of civilization, if you are the first teacher, the circle of influence, we need you Black women to say, hey, I know my nails, I could, need to get them done, but I'm not going to go there. I'm going to go to a Black-owned nail salon. Okay. I know I need my eyelashes done, but I'm going to find somebody Black to do it. We need you to stand on business. Okay. Now I know Black men too, you need to stand on business, but I'm talking to the sisters because we've been here before. Have we not? We've been here before. Oh yes. Y'all remember Brother Tyrone Muhammad. Y'all remember when A sister got done dirty up in one of those nail salons and he threw a brick through the window. You remember that there in Chicago? And what happened? Y'all went right back. And in other cases, when brother stood on business for you, when you was roughed up, you caught a bad one at one of these shops, y'all cussed the brothers out. You did. Don't tell me what to do. I mean, especially when them Asians, right? They had a 50% off sale the next day. Y'all lined up. Matter of fact, y'all was there before they even opened to go get all the bells and the whistles for 50% off. But as I said, that sister got 100% butt whooping in that shop, but y'all don't care, right? Now I know some of y'all saying, well, you know, and ain't nothing ever happened to me. Oh, they good to me until it happens to you, right? And then you're going to fire your internet up, your social media, and say, look what they did to me. Oh, they did this to me. And most of us are going to say, and you're telling us why? Why is this important to us? Where were you? Did you not hear the memo that we ain't going up in there? And you went up in there anyway? Even to this day, there's people are putting videos out. I don't know why they keep going in there, but they're putting these videos out of being locked in, you know, some of their shops, being accused of stealing, and being told to empty your bags and all these other things. And it's like, do you think them people gonna stop? You know why they're not gonna stop? Because we don't stop. We don't stop going in there. We might, you know, 2-3 weeks. And then when you get to looking at your fingernails, you're like, I could either pick up a nail file and fingernail polish and do it myself or go find somebody black owned, or I'm just going to go in there real quick. Ain't nobody looking. I'm going to go in there. It ain't that we ain't got to see you. It ain't that we don't, you know, we have to see you. They know you going in there. That should be enough. That those people in those shops know that you are breaking the line. You're crossing the line. What do you think they think? Oh, we know they'll be back. They can't stay away from us. So black women, this is on you right now. Cause y'all, I know the brothers, they, you know, the Jordans, all that. We're gonna talk to them later. I'm talking to you right now. We need you to stand on business because it's almost always y'all that go and just forget what everybody else is talking about. But guess what? They taking the lives of your sons. Now, maybe not your son today, but it might be your son tomorrow. And then you're going to want the community to stand on business with you. But see, if we catch you out there in them shops, or we see a video out there of you in there and you getting all haughty about what you're not going to do, and then you catch a bad one, I'm going to just suggest you go ask them people to help you, because that's who you were more solidarity with. That's where your loyalty was. But do not bother the black community, because the rest of us are standing on business and we mean it, right? I know in the past we kind of dropped the ball, and, you know, especially like with people like Colin Kaepernick when he was standing on business, or kneeling on business, if you will, and everybody went back to watch football because Jay-Z said, oh, we passed kneeling, when he never got on one knee at all. Against white supremacy. That's another video. Like I said, I got another one coming for you, but this is for the sisters. Please do not go back up in there. And if you do and something happened to you, call your mama. Anyway, for more insightful commentary, please subscribe to this channel and my channel.
Let me go ahead and stop the screen share there, family. All right. So just an emphasis to keep pushing forward. All right. Not letting up. Continuing to build our economical prowess and power. All right, making sure that we are supporting our black-owned businesses, making sure that we're showing solidarity and economical strength. All right, that's the only way that we can. One of the main ways that we can show our power is through our dollars. All right, so let's show the power of the black dollar. Let's starve out some of these competitions, some of these other businesses, and prove, most importantly, to ourselves that we can support one another, that we can have aspects of sustainability, that we are not dependent on others to be able to supply our needs. Okay, there are a myriad, there are too many to name, black businesses of all types. Okay, so in a second, I'm going to actually highlight a few black businesses that I have on deck. All right, so we can begin to look at those things. But these are the things that should not just be uh, relegated to, this just current boycott. This should be a cultural practice. This should be a mainstay for us to spend and buy black. It only makes economical sense when you're talking about aspects of building up communities, building up a wealth base, building up intergenerational wealth, being able to move towards more of aspect of sovereignty, community, and nationhood. Okay, if we can't supply some of the basic needs for our communities, then what are we really talking about? And we do have those institutions, entities, and businesses that are providing those things, but we have to be more assertive. We have to be more intentful in how we are spending our dollars. All right, and that part is on us, and has been, as the sister mentioned, for quite some time now. There are several different incidents that was mentioned previously in this video where black folks, were challenged, to not spend their money after being abused in these businesses. They've been challenged on that. They've been tested on that, and unfortunately, in some of these past incidences, we have failed. All right, so we need to push forward, persevere, and be victorious, so we can not only prove to the world, but most and more importantly, prove to ourselves that we indeed have what it takes. And this is based on our tremendous, illustrious history and legacy, as we've demonstrated previously tonight, with just one iteration dealing with music. All right, with that being said, let me come to the ethereal journalist for any weighing in on this before I highlight a few of our beautiful black businesses.
I yield to Sister Chief first.
Okay, well, where do I begin? So, so two things that I know for certain, and that is, I think this is a blessing in disguise. And what I mean by that is we were really gearing up to do this to a greater extent. We had already began like last year, and that was raising the question around the fake and phoniness that have become a mainstay of our women and girls, by the way. Again, and this is not to criticize anyone or anything like that, but looking at it from a health aspect, the research that we've come up with is that the use of these glues, both with fingernails and now eyelashes, and of course hair, is creating health issues with our women. So we're not only suggesting that people, our sisters, boycott and not go to these shops, but also to begin to think about what is actually happening to them in the long term of this thing. Everyone likes to feel good about themselves, certainly, but we also have to ask the question now, are we feeling good because we are programmed and engineered to look a certain way? Now, I'm going to say this very honestly about our women. I know women who have long hair naturally, right? And the one thing you did not see our women do with long hair was to flip it back, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
To either take your head or your hand and flip your hair back, pick it back. Black women never did that. And listen, my auntie, my grandmother, they all had long hair, natural hair, never jerked your head to the side or flicked it back or whatever. But now, when I'm out, and big up to Sister J. Renee, because see, I walk through the hood. Because I like to see for myself and know for myself what's going on. And I'm saying to folk today that Now our women are literally flipping their hair and their head like white women. So really, and see, that was definitely a thing that really only they did. Really, for real. If you look at history, that was one of their things. Sally and Ann and Karen and all of that, they would, their hair, right? We never did. Even with long, beautiful, we never did that. So my point is, we are now, as Black women, picking up these traits and these characteristics of other women, not just in the context of how we should look, right? But also now the actual behavior, the actual, demonstration of these things. Now, again, I digress. So the point is, yes, continue to do the boycott. And what we're going to do on New Day this week is, if you're in the Philly tri-state area, we're going to give you roughly 10 Black salons that you can go to for your nails. Okay, if you're into that. Right. Of course, we're trying to encourage our women to get your nails done without the false nails. I know that's a challenge and all of that, but we still need to say it, because again, the health issues that is now coming up with that, you're going to pay a price for that later. The way it's looking. And also with some of the weaves and the synthetic hair, the reports are now coming in that this is doing something to your blood system. And we're going to go more into that at another time, right? Now, the glue that's being used on your eyes. Now, y'all got to think about this now. You're putting glue on your eye area. Your eye area is one of the thinnest parts of the skin on your body. And I'm just saying, folks, I get, the self-esteem builder and all of that, but in the bigger scheme of things, we better start thinking about what the outcome is going to be. And lastly, and the main thing here is to stay away from the Asian shops. I'm saying again, sisters, we got to get on code, meaning the reason why some of our women are able to say what they say is because we are not synchronized well enough, nor embracing something that all or most of us can agree on. So again, we've been putting it out there to folks over the past couple of years. This year, we're going to literally do it. And that is sessions that we can hold so that sisters that are ready and interested, we can develop codes of conduct, so that we can, as sisters, a sisterhood, agree this is what we're going to do or try not to do or work to do or whatever, including having our own businesses. So there's sessions coming. See, for me to just complain or just to discuss certain things is great, because we need to do those conversations. But if you're not coming also with a possible form of plan of action, to me, you're wasting freaking time. And so what we're saying for MWM 29 this year, leading up to MWM 30, sessions are going to be for sisters who want to now do this. Better business and community building. So that the shops, the vacant properties in some of our communities, sisters, we don't have money to put together collectively to purchase some of these buildings and have our own shops and do it collectively or individually. But learn to invest with each other. We can't do that, because if we can't, I'm like, I'm not with that. So we've got to now deal with a declaration of separation. Let's get the women away from the girls when it comes to certain modes of operations. Okay, it's just that simple at this stage of the game. So again, the point is, we need to take back our communities in the spirit of Sankofa. Sisters, we have enough revenue amongst ourselves to purchase some of these properties. We have enough people in our communities to help do whatever work needs to get done, and then to do what we need to do in some of our communities. I yield on that.
Good points. Good points, Sister Chief. Great points. Great points. I would like to just add real quick. I think when you look at us continuing to patronize these businesses that have done nothing but disrespected us, exploited us, and showed no appreciation towards our patronizing them, you know, we have a case of battered women syndrome, you know, on that whole psychological level. We keep going back to somebody that's treating us bad, and we still continue to give them our energy, our money, our currency, which is our frequency, and our money, and money is energy. And it's battered wife syndrome, and they keep treating us like crap. So we have to look at also from a psychological perspective, why do we keep on being the dogs that go back to their vomit and the pigs that go back to their shit? Because it's been implanted in a lot of these people that come here to this country, all these other nations of people. And the first place they do is they set up shop in the hood. How many people you know is making cheesesteaks and everything in North Philly that are from Asian nations? So now they've gained the intelligence to make a good cheesesteak to throw out that window and sell it to us. Even the ones that are coming in from South America, the Colombians. So we have a case of like I said, battered wife syndrome. We're dogs that keep going back to our vomit and pigs that keep going back to our shit. And when it comes to the other point that you were making, Sister Chi, about patronizing our own businesses, we have to psychologically start telling our women, this is about building ourselves collectively. If you have any kind of hate, jealousy, or envy for your fellow woman or man that's trying to do this thing, get that, deal with that internally first. Because a lot of times the reason why they'll go to the Asian business versus the black hair business is because they hate themselves. And when they look at the black business owner, that's a reflection of them. So they gonna hate them too. So a lot of us got to get rid of the hate, envy, and jealousy that's within us, so that we'll look at that black business and say, that's a reflection of us building towards the greater good of our community versus taking my money $1 out of our community every time we get it and put it in somebody else's community, and it goes to their communities 10 to 20 times, but it comes in our community $1 in, $1 out. And it doesn't circulate where we can build our capital base to have investments in ourselves. But that hate, jealousy, and envy of our own people, because we look at the reflection of the person that's a black business owner as us, and because we hate ourselves, we gonna hate them too. That's a very sick spiritual problem that we gotta fix in order for us to collectively come together and build like we're talking about. But we gotta look at that part of it as well. I yield.
So with that said, that's why, I love how we focus on some of our psychiatrists who also tend to deal with other levels of development. And now that we know that this is what has happened and we can cite it, we have to utilize these tactics or these concepts ourselves in what we're doing. Mm-hmm. So with that said, what I'm saying is at some point, this is why one of the things that we propose is a civil society. For those that want to function like that, because here's the reality, we will be spending another 100 years dealing with community in the concept that we have been. Knowing that when we talk about the community as a whole, we're going to always have either the boule people, gatekeepers, sellouts, Negropeans, and whatever. So it behooves us to, at some point, create a component that is not necessarily away from the community or separate from the community, but has the capability to operate in a certain manner and can show the example. Now, with that said, that means accountability can be implemented adequately. Mm-hmm. Because in order to be a part of the society, there's certain things that you can and cannot, will and will not do. Mm-hmm. You see, and so we can't keep expecting folk of a certain mindset to do certain things until we're in a position to better help them do that. Mm-hmm. So we have to look at creating a nucleus so that the nucleus can operate in such a way that we can embrace our people by showing them clear, concrete examples, not just 1, 2, 3 of us, but enough of us that's going to make a difference. And there's enough of us out here that can do that, but we're not synchronized. We're not collectively together to the degree that we're actually doing things. So that's why one of the things that MWM is doing now is identifying women, Black women, universally Black women, that want to move in a certain kind of manner in terms of growth and development. And from that entity, we can build and then continue to grow and develop. If we cannot come up with possibilities on the how we're going to do this stuff, then for me, it is not in this day and age.
Indeed, indeed. All right, absolutely. With that being said, let me jump into of the highlighted Black businesses. All right.
Good segue.
All right, let me go ahead and share my screen here. Of course, this is just a few, family. All right, and we're working on creating and be able to consolidate different indexes as well. So we'll keep you posted as that project continues to build also. All right, let me share my screen here. All right, and let me just say, everything's not for everybody, so whatever floats your boat, family. All right. So right here we have a Black-owned halal Chinese buffet. All right, let's let it rock. All right, that is halal fusion Chinese. Okay. Let me see if they have the address there. This is in Philly. I do not see open 6 days a week. I don't see the address posted here though. I'm gonna see if I can pull that for you later on. But of course, you can always plug that into your phone and find that is halal fusion Chinese restaurant. All right, and that is located in Philadelphia.
Hey, if I go there, will I be able to meet Show Enough?
Show Enough.
Yeah, Show Enough from The Last Dragon.
Yeah, Show Enough.
Yeah. Right. But technically speaking, we were the first Chinese anyways. The Black Chinese were the original Chinese. So
yes, sir.
I could dig the fusion piece right there because it's coming from us anyway in anyhow. So I'm with that.
Indeed. All right, yes, sir. Okay, with that being said, let me jump into my next feature. All right, let me share my screen here. All right, because we don't want to just talk about it, family. We want to be about it. All right, so one of the ways that we're doing that is helping to share some of these Black-owned businesses. We're talking about shopping Black. Okay, so how are we supporting one another within that effort? All right, let's rock.
So I tell y'all, Black people don't give a damn. I said a whole lot more in that video, but y'all all want to come in the comments and say, now who the Black farmer that shipped the meats? Y'all ain't paid attention to shit else. But I'm gonna tell y'all who the Black farmer is that shipped the meats. The Black farmer that ships the meats is Freedom Acres Ranch. Yes, they are completely Black owned. They are located in Denver, Colorado. They ship all over the country, and 5% of their earnings goes to underserved, low income communities that struggle with food scarcity. They also teach the next generation of children how to farm, ranch, and get on into the industry and the business. And guess what else, y'all? Guess what else? To truly stand on their mission, right, of making sure that farm food is accessible to people of all socioeconomic classes, they accept EBT. Come on now, my God. And you can go ahead and order from them online Online, baby, online. Now I'm here in South Carolina, but I'm damn sure gonna support the family that been fighting for their damn life, facing racism, people poisoning like their livestock, people hating on them, people trying to keep them out of business and push them out of business, and even had to fight to keep their farm. Baby, they even did some jail time. Can you believe that? They did some jail time trying to stand on business and what is theirs. So go ahead and buy them out. Buy them out today. Freedom Acres Ranch. And I am not paid to tell y'all this shit. I'm only telling it to you because I'm rooting for everybody black. Have a good day. But I tell y'all, black.
Stop it there. Freedom Acres Farms, family. Freedom Acres Farms. Tap in. All right, check them out. Give them some play. All right, black farmers. Okay, let me stop my screen share there. All right, I got one more, but wait, there's more. Got one more for y'all. Okay. All right, let me jump in real quick and okay, let me share my screen one more again. Let me share my screen. Okay, here we go. Got all right, there it is. Okay. All right, family, let me take it back. Make sure the volume is right. Okay, here we go.
Just in case you didn't know, y'all know we have black-owned canned goods in the grocery store, right? So let's look at the ingredients. We have green beans, water, and salt. Oh, baby, we love to see it. And they're on sale right now for 3 for $5. They have green beans, corn, mixed vegetables. They also have the black-eyed peas. They have garbanzo beans, y'all, pinto. And y'all see all these other options. Y'all better make sure y'all pick the right one, okay?
It's getting to a point where.
All right, let me stop my screen share there. Okay. All right, so that's just to name a few, family. Black-owned businesses. We got black-owned canned goods. All right, we got black farmers. We got the black Chinese fusion buffet right here in Philly. Okay, so I would encourage you to do your due diligence as well, to do your research as well, and search for, look up, and pull up and share those black-owned businesses that you're getting more familiar with, so we can continue to patronize them, so we can continue to build economically. All right, as a collective. Let me come to the Ethereal journalist for any additions on that.
I'm glad you spotlighted those black-owned businesses, because we need to go back to definitely Wall Street, Black Wall Street type of things, Rosewood type of things, Wilmington type of things, and doing what we did before. We're not doing something that we haven't already done. This is not reinventing the wheel. They destroyed that wheel eventually, but we can rebuild it because that's who we are as a people. So we definitely need to go back to our own independent, self-contained communities and start using that dollar to flow through our community several times versus one in and then one out into another community that benefits off of our labor. Number one, they still benefit off our labor because we go to work and then we turn around and we flip the dollar into their community versus flipping it into our own community. So that's what we need to get back to: the Rosewoods, the Black Wall Streets, and there's something like 20 something other places that were black self-contained communities. I yield.
Indeed.
Hey, how about having a soul food town in every daggone major city, like there's a Chinatown in every major city of the world?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, that's something we can look to planning towards. All right, it's going to take a collective, concerted effort, though, family, so we can pull some of these things off. All right, so let's make sure we're getting on board and sharing within some of these responsibilities and within this aspect of accountability, so we can rebuild the structure of black business locally, nationally, and be able to connect those dots as well internationally. Okay, that's what other people do. You know, the reason why they're able to, have lower prices in some instances is because they're able to buy wholesale, right? Because they have a community collective, a business collective. They're also able to purchase directly from the supplier, from their home countries, from China, from Korea, all right, and getting bottom dollar prices, all right, and that's how they're able to offer cheaper rates, all right. So we have to be more business savvy, right, and be less selfish, understanding that we are interdependent. We need each other, all right. This is what all other ethnicities, all other communities do. This is what they're aware of. This is what they practice. This is just basic common sense as it pertains to economical development and empowerment. All right. So we can not only be consumers, but be producers. All right. Being able to be captains of our own industries. All right. As opposed to depending on others in order to.
Self-determination. Real quick, just to piggyback on what you just said, self-determination is just not self-determination. It's also self-preservation. And I think that's what we need to get. These communities are preserving themselves on our back. They're harnessing our energy. They're siphoning our communities. They're harvesting our currency, our energy, which is our money. So we just got to just have more self-preservation mentality versus as well as self-determination. So when we start incorporating self-determination, we got to look at self-preservation as a nation of people that will not tolerate the disrespect of other communities coming in or other nations of people coming in and exploiting our dollars. Period. I yield.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for that addition, Brother Pollinator. All right, family. Now I did have a couple clips, but we running low on
I just want to chime in real quick, if I can.
Yep, go for it.
Okay, so I didn't catch the name of the clip from the canned good company, but I just wanted folks to know that we have already reached out. We did this a couple of months ago, actually, to get ready to obtain Ujima Partners. So there's a Black company called The Good of all things. Their actual name is Good, Goode. We contacted them in hopes that they will be one of our partners for MWM30. They're based in Florida, but this is a Black-owned company, and actually some of their products are already in Targets. That's one of the locations you can actually get their product. But yeah, the other thing I wanted to share is that on the 26th, we will be making some of our plans of action to formulate our own, what we call as the kickoff, New Black Philly. And so, or New Black City. Because again, without designated locations, without doing the proper research in order to bring forward certain things, we got to go beyond the conversational part. So the one thing that we do know for certain is that based on reparatory justice, based on the fact that many cities now have reparation task forces or commissions, we now are going to be presenting our plan of action in order to make certain that we can obtain repair. With that said, most cities, if not all cities, have segments of their budget for very specific things, from transportation to health initiatives or whatever, that they do every single year. There's allocations for every city. And so what we're saying is, so again, for those who do not know the We Charge Genocide, we're giving you a heads up. What we're saying is there's monies already there. We just want a part of it. You see? We want a segment now designated for repair out of the monies that they already designate for city kinds of initiatives. But we don't want it in the same way that everybody else applies. We want ours in the context of repair. Different game, different all across the board. So again, this puts us in position to be able to do some of these things in a more realistic and in a more expedited manner. I yield.
All right, all right. Thank you for those additions, Sister Empress. Powerful, powerful. So we did have couple other clips. I had to truncate it because we're running tight on time. All right, we'll try to have that for you next episode with updates on UAPs, as well as the anti-weaponization. There's some developments as far as. Let me just try to see if I can run through it real quickly without actually going through the clips. So there's updates on Iran supposedly reaching a peace deal. All right, with the U.S. So we'll see how things progress with that. Now, I've seen a report that Netanyahu has pushed firmly against this and says that he will actually defy the deal that is being struck by Iran and the U.S. All right, so we'll keep you posted with that. The federal judge has once again blocked the anti-weaponization fund. All right, so that has still been stalled. We'll keep you updated on that as things progress. As you know, or you may not know, UAP disclosure. Okay, those there's more disclosure files that have come out as of recent. So we'll touch base on that on our next episode as well. All right, a lot of information that is formulating as far as that is concerned. All right, things are coming through the pipe and things are being unveiled there. All right, so I just want to play this. Matter of fact, I'll say that for next time too. Some upcoming technology that is going to be utilized for prisoners. We'll have that on the next episode. Very concerning, to say the least, family. All right. With that being said, though, we're going to come to an aspect of ethereal inspiration. All right, we're going to get ready to close out for this episode, for this edition. All right, for our 1 year anniversary. All right, with that being said, now this ethereal inspirational piece is also going to highlight a black business. All right, so let me jump into that and let me share. Okay. This is a practical, something that could be applied practically. All right, this recent invention. All right, I'm gonna put you on mute for a second because your background is okay. There you go. All right, all right. So let me let it rock, family.
A black father and his 4 sons have invented a patented security device that prevents windows from being opened from the bottom and from the top.
We are the Smith brothers.
And Dad. And this is our product, the Winlock Window and Patio Security Bar. Your windows are open. Our product is the only product that secures your window from the outside, so this won't happen.
But with the Winlock, they cannot. We secure the top and the bottom. Thank you for your support.
So basically, if you don't use their product, this is what can happen. But if you use their product, this is what happens. A black father and his 4 sons.
All right, let me stop my screen share there. All right, family, tap into the Winlock. All right, these brothers have invented. Okay. Let me come to my next piece before we get ready to close out for this evening. Okay. Now this is, I wish I had a video for it, but this is a still. All right. Now you hear people talking about we can't do this, we can't do that, black people won't come together, so on and so forth. Boo-hoo. All right. Folks are actually doing these things, family. Let me highlight this story. Freedom, Georgia is proof that when people stop waiting for the system to fix itself and start building their own, real change actually happens. Let me blow this up a little bit. Okay. In 2020, during the height of racial unrest following the killing of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, two Georgia women decided protesting alone was not enough. Ashley Scott and Renee Walters gathered 19 Black families together and pooled their resources to purchase nearly 100 acres of land in rural Wisconsin County, Georgia. They named it Freedom. Their vision is a self-sustaining community with housing, agriculture, business, and cooperative economics built entirely by and for Black families. The initiative has since expanded to over 500 acres, and the founders are working towards incorporating Freedom as an official city in the state of Georgia. The project echoes historic efforts like Black Wall Street in Tulsa and the freedom colonies built by freed African Americans after emancipation. The quote here says, "We refused to fix a broken system, so we built our own." Inside Freedom, Georgia, 70 families, 5,000 acres, and a safe haven they call home. Let me stop my screen share there, family. And that wraps up our segment for Ethereal Inspiration.
Clap, 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 clap.
All right. That being said, let me come to the Ethereal Journalist for any additions on this before we get ready to close out for this session for this evening.
I'm straight.
Yeah, just for me, I'm very familiar with the two sisters and what they did. This is one of the reasons why I've been saying what I've been saying, because, you know, people are doing things. It's few, but it is happening. And we have to continue to advocate in that kind of manner. If we're not talking about literally obtaining land and operating it ourselves with our own everything, then folks, the other folks will continue to have that conversation for the next 100 years and probably the 100 years after that.
Yep.
All right, family. So that's what we're talking about. Not only talking about it, but being about it. All right. Putting our money where our mouth is. Okay. All right. So let's be more than woke. Let's make sure that we're active, family. Let's make sure we're actually in motion and not just laying down in bed. All right. For all that, you might as well hit the snooze button and go back to sleep. All right. You got to get up. You got to get active. All right, family. With that being said, let me come to the Ethereal Journalist if there's any final thoughts or closing remarks before we get ready to close out for this 1 year anniversary for the Ethereal Journey podcast.
I just want to remind folks, because earlier I couldn't, I was in a noisy place, I couldn't really announce it, but our next upcoming Black Poli-Sci 101 is coming. We'll be sending it out tomorrow. We had to make some adjustments because we initially had scheduled Sister Inez for tonight, Brother the Moon, but I don't know if you noticed that. No. But I had noticed, I remembered actually on Sunday I remembered and I contacted her so we could change the date. So we'll be putting it out for you tomorrow. But there will be 2 sessions coming up with Sister Inez, and we're going to do, the opening is going to be on self-determination so that people can get a better idea what self-determination is. And then Sister Inez is going to do, her sessions are going to be on education for liberation. That's the title of her presentation. All right.
Absolutely. Outstanding. Brother Polly, let me come to you. Final thoughts, closing remarks.
Oh man, it was a great first year anniversary of the Ethereal Journey podcast. I just want to tell you beautiful good ethereal journalists, Sister Empress Chi and Brother Lumumba and Cage, that you all are great collaborators. Y'all are great partners in this great effort or this great thing that we're doing that I know is divinely appointed for such a time as this. And I just want to thank you all for your hard work, for your determination, and for all of your efforts to be present and be consistent like we have been for this 52nd times that we've been around every Tuesday at 8 o'clock p.m. putting on this great Ethereal Journey podcast. So I just want to commend and congratulate and thank you all first and foremost. Secondly, I want to thank the Ethereal Journey audience for your patience, for the love that you've shown us, and just the support that you've given unto us, so that we can continue the energy, because we get our energy from you all. You know, you all are the ones that give us the hope. You give us the willingness to say we're going to do this another week, and another year, and potentially another decade. You know. And that's where we're at. We want our people to rise up. We want our people to raise their vibration, raise their frequency, bring up that energy of the primordials that we are, the ancient ones who have ancient intelligence, aka AI versus artificial. We're authentic when it comes to what we're trying to do and what we are doing as a nation of people. So I just want to encourage everyone who is our supporters and who listens to continue to elevate, ascend, and transcend yourself within your own internal technology first and foremost, so that you can raise your vibration to the frequency level, so that we can collectively come together and get some of these things done and build upon some of these great pyramids, some of these great foundations, some of these great, whatever you want to call it, that we have been called for such a time like this to do. This is our calling. This is a clarion call. To be ethereal and to be earthly at the same time, that's great balance. We have to have that balance amongst our people in order for us to collectively move together in self-determination, in self-preservation, and all the things that we talk about and our ancestors have talked about throughout the last few centuries. So with that being said, I just want to encourage everybody to continue to tune in to the Ethereal Journey podcast every Tuesday at 8 o'clock p.m. And I just want to say upward, forward, onward, UFO, shalom, and one.
Absolutely, family. And I want to shout out, I echo all of those sentiments as well, and give a special shout out to some of our frequent engagers and supporters and viewers here on the Ethereal Journey podcast. And in the very near future, we're going to have some additional gifts for you all who has been, supporting us and holding us down. All right, so shout out to our consistent contributors and supporters, and that is our sister Shirley Baker.
Oh yeah.
Our sister
Triple salutes.
Triple salute. Our sister Jay Renee.
Triple salutes.
And one of our newest viewers and supporters, Sister Mary Muzan.
Triple salutes.
Triple salutes, family. So we appreciate you all and all those who have supported us in this interim, through our different growths and developments and through our present day iteration with the evolution of the ethereal journey. All right, family. With that being said, we getting ready to close out for this evening. And of course, with that being said, I want to give thanks first and foremost to the Most High Creator, Creatress. Give thanks to the ancestors and the elders, those who have shed blood, sweat, and tears and paved the way to allow us to be here today. I want to thank you all once again. All those who are tuning in presently, who are tuning in the future, those who are on Facebook, those on YouTube. Thank you for your time, energy, and effort, dedication, determination, and discipline. We appreciate all your support. Please continue to share, like, subscribe. All right. I bid you all truth, justice, peace, love, freedom, power, prosperity, protection, patience, and divinely principled purpose. I want to say, let us continue to strategize, organize, and mobilize family. And of course, Moja Tutashinda, which means together
Together, we will
win.
win.
All right.
Upward, forward, on with a victory, my peoples.
All right. All right. Peace and love for our 1 year anniversary episode of the Ethereal Journey podcast. And we look forward to many more and building with you all. Give thanks.
Shalom.